No, but Allah has every
You could
single
join in
right.
if you want as well.
I might.
Allah has
Come, bro.
Well, you know, every time we sin or do wrong, Allah has every
Content over everything.
right. If He wanted to punish us there and then,
But what I'm saying,
But the mercy is, shall I be honest with you, the mercy is that He's given every single one of us a lifetime. Whether it's 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, 90 years. We should all look, and this is what I did, look for what the truth is. Not just what bases my desires or what is on my what I feel.
All right, I need to ask you a question. Do you believe God is loving and merciful?
100%. He is
So
the most merciful.
if God is loving and merciful, why would He only give you 70 years to prove yourself and then put you in hell for eternity?
But he's given every
Because
single one of us a chance.
hold on.
to look
Can I clarify one thing? First,
I need to
just clarify one question.
Wait. Just before the conversation goes on, yeah. Like I know when the camera stops coming out, you like. No, obviously you don't like. Well, you do like to have your point over. And
I'm a
also,
narcissist
wait,
sometimes.
also-
What can I
also-
say?
Also, you like to make yourself seem like you're speaking intellectually superior to him. Like you're saying, like you're.
Maybe I am speaking intellectually superior to him. Maybe your
but do you understand what
perception
I'm
is
saying?
right.
No, but like
I know, but maybe your perception's right. Maybe I'm right.
Wallahi,
Dude,
10 minutes ago you were speaking so calm.
I know, but you know what I'm like.
This guy, hey Leon, you know what he said?
Dude, you
He's
know
like,
what I'm
maybe
like.
if you had, if you advise me,
hold on,
then maybe I would
hold on,
convert.
bro, you're coming.
And now,
you're coming into
shouting at
conversation,
me.
and
La,
I'm
la,
not
la,
sure. I'm
you get
asking
what I
you
mean?
genuine
You know what?
questions.
Come on, Raj, you have to be
I'm
sincere.
asking you genuine questions.
That's why the first,
Hold on,
the
bro.
first question I asked you,
Hold on,
Raj, are you a sincere
hold on.
person?
I'm asking you a genuine question.
let's not
No,
argue.
how
We're not
hard?
gonna get
Hold
anywhere.
on. How is? Hold on. How hard?
Shall I wrap up Raj for the end of the night? Shall I wrap him
Oh,
up now? Shall I wrap him up?
we're back again. Oh my God, man. He's back. Where did you come from?
Oh, this guy's a petty.
Where did he come
What's
from?
his story?
Oh, he's a ex-Hindu, Sikh, and now he's become Muslim. What I'm trying to ask you is a very simple question, because I believe God is merciful and God is loving.
Yeah.
And so if God is merciful and loving, that's a very simple concept.
You can't take.
If God is so merciful and loving, why would He put give someone 70 years to prove themselves and then put them into hell for eternity? Eternity is not.
He's given every one of those
Eternity.
He's given-
Eternity isn't just like 60 years. Eternity is endless.
Raj, can I make one point?
Yeah. Is that an invalid point?
The fact of the matter is,
It's a valid point.
the fact of the matter is, we all woke up today.
Yeah.
God is merciful to us. Every breath we take is from the most merciful.
Yeah.
Now, even if you have 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, that is enough of a lifetime that if you wanted to know what the truth was and you wanted to sincerely, because me, I'll give you an example, yeah? I asked the creator, I didn't know his name, and I just asked the creator, guide me to the straight path. Whatever your path is, guide me to it. Yeah. And I don't care what I had to give up or what I didn't have to give up, or what I had to do. I just wanted to be on the path that is true guidance.
Don't be worried, man. You know what I'm like.
I believe, inshallah.
And what is he gonna expect when you come on camera with me?
I think you're gonna headbutt me, man.
No, I'm not. I've no
Can
issue with you,
sorry,
bro.
because
Come over.
Raj
I'm
might
asking
know
you.
you more.
Yeah,
Can
I've
you,
only
like,
met him
explain
today.
to me like what your views are exactly.
He's actually a Muslim.
But that's like a whole nother.
You don't know my views. You don't. I'm a Muslim.
He's actually a
I'm
Muslim.
a Muslim. So
Yeah, but that's like we're speaking to Raj.
so I'm just asking him a question. That's it.
My thing is that if you ask God genuinely, inshallah, to guide you, and you're genuinely wanting that guidance, then inshallah Allah will guide the person.
Yeah.
It happened to me. It didn't just happen to me overnight. I asked Allah to guide me for 4 or 5 years like I was looking.
Yeah.
I looked for Christianity, I looked for Sikhism, I looked for Judaism. And Judaism, they kind of is an exclusive religion. You can't be it unless your mother or whatever. Hinduism. I looked at their core beliefs. I didn't study them in entirety. It would take me years.
Yeah.
But when I came to Islam, I couldn't fault it.
Yeah. Did
And
you
the
convert?
challenges
Did
that Allah
you
gives in the
convert to
Qur'an, the
Islam?
challenges that Allah subhanahu gives in the Qur'an,
Yeah.
that if this was a book from
it
any
is?
other than
Oh,
your
yeah,
book, you should find many contradictions and error.
Yeah.
If you are in doubt about what we have sent down to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam,
Yeah.
then provide a book or a chapter like it.
A lot of
And this
people
is
have
the
though.
challenge. No, this is the challenge that from the time of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to now.
Can I just
And
say?
if
But
they
it's so
have-
subjective,
if they have,
though.
I would know if they have.
But
then we would like
I'm
to
not
see it.
criticizing Islam, but I always give the example of this. Is like if I'm an artist, if I put out an art piece here and I let people look at it, and they can enjoy the drawing for what it is. But if I didn't say this drawing is perfect, everybody's going to criticize it and try and find faults. One of the things I have a problem about with a lot of Muslims, they say something is perfect and cannot be replicated. I'm not saying whether it can or not, but I'm pretty sure writing a book or, someone might think Harry Potter is an amazing book and cannot be replicated. Do you understand?
You could
It's
get-
very subjective, is
Raj,
it not?
You could get rid of
Yeah, it's
every single
subjective.
book
It
in
is
the world.
subjective.
And I guarantee, bro,
But can you not
the
see how
Qur'an, the Quran would be the only book that
But
came
can
out
I
word
just
for
say
word,
one
But it
thing?
is
and not a single dot or a letter or anything.
But I'm not criticizing your faith. I'm asking you about subjectivity. Can you not see that your subjectivity about a book being perfect, somebody could use the same criteria for something like Harry Potter and say that's a perfect book.
Someone could change Harry
No, but
Potter.
there's reasons why.
But what I'm saying is that
change Harry
any
Potter.
book
Can
in
I
person,
mention- The thing is, right, I get what you're saying about it sometimes, you know, Raj trying to overpower your views or whatever. I'm a Muslim as well, but I feel like we have this problem as well in our community because a lot of Muslims can talk very authoritatively
Yeah, but right,
and
but
dismissively.
it's not.
to
But we're
other-
not that those type of people. You understand what I mean?
But I've
That's
seen
why
it in the
first-
park.
I'm not
No,
talking-
but no,
I'm
yeah,
not
we're not
talking
talking
over-
about them.
I'm not talking about you.
I'm not talking over him.
Yeah.
I'm just basically trying to tell him from what not just from me.
Yeah,
Allah
yeah.
subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran.
Yeah, yeah.
If there's a religion, anyone desires a religion other than Islam, it won't be
But
accepted.
bro, can I ask you? Can I
but-
just
but-
clarify?
But haven't you noticed a
that's a
trend in the
simple-
park
yeah.
where
Oh, bro,
a lot of
hey, bro, that's another topic.
Can I
bro.
can I just-
I think it's relevant.
You're
I
asking me
think
to
it's
condemn,
relevant.
man.
No,
Bro, come on, man.
no. It's for you. It's another topic, but for me, it's the same topic
not the same
because
topic.
when you mention it
I'm trying
about
to get this guy to
someone,
Islam,
you have to
inshallah.
mention it about all people. You have to be
the same
fair.
topic.
Do you know what I mean? Like we do have this problem as well. We do overpower conversations. Like there is that issue.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Are we overpowering the conversation right now?
I'm not talking about you. I think you're
So,
being
brother,
really respectful, but
It's hard
I
to
do
overpower
notice.
me though. That's the problem.
I do notice
Let's
it.
have a.
But I don't
One
let my
man
ego
army.
get in the way. I
One
don't
man.
try to overpower
No, I'm gonna joke. I've got a
I'm
weird sense
interested
of
in
humor.
genuine dialogue.
Yeah,
But-
yeah, yeah.
But can I ask you a
Yeah,
question? Because it's everyone saying that I'm overpowering, but I'm asking a very simple question. If God is so merciful and loving, yeah, why would He only give someone 70 years to prove themselves and put them in hell for eternity if they don't pass that test?
Does he not have the right?
No.
No, answer
I'm
me.
asking you a
Answer
question.
me, answer me.
God has a
Does
right
God-
to do whatever He wants, but if He was
Exactly. That's
merciful,
when it gets
if
as
you
simple-
if you had a
it's as simple as
mother,
that.
yeah, if you had a mother and she only gave you 7 months to prove
What
yourself.
you don't understand.
But I'm asking you a very
Raj, it's
simple.
simple
No,
as
yeah.
that.
We've
Yeah.
got the question, but let me.
But this
let
is
me
why I
respond.
cannot be
No,
part of the
no,
Abrahamic faiths.
no, of
Because the
course.
concept of God is very vengeful. And in the Dharmic faiths is much more what I call compassionate and loving. You know, I don't know
Why
what's so
Allah subhanahu wa
problematic
ta'ala
about
is the
that.
most merciful. Every single breath, every single one of
But
us
you've only got
taking
one
now
chance.
is from Allah.
But you've only got one chance, and if you do shirk, you're going to hell.
So what are you telling me that?
So
it's,
you would like to associate
Would it-
partners with
no,
God,
wait,
yeah?
wait.
But
Would
do
it
you
be
think-
fair? Would it be fair for Hitler to come back for another chance for what he did? Are you telling me he's not
That-
going to be
that's-
punished?
that-
Nah,
that-
but it's good.
Bro, that equivalency is pointless.
same
You're just trying to
principle. No.
get an emotional
It's-
reaction,
it's
yeah?
not- I'm not trying to get an
You're
emotional
using
reaction.
Hitler, which is pointless. What I'm
No,
trying to say to you
I'm
is
telling
that
you that I believe that someone has to be.
what I'm
judged
saying,
like
all right,
that.
let me give you an example. If
Because it'd
somebody,
be unfair for
if
someone
somebody,
to come back and have
yeah,
multiple chances.
if somebody, yeah, had lived a life of crime and done this and done that, but in the last 6 months of their life, then turned things around and then became a Muslim, would they go into heaven? Would God be merciful with them, or would they punish them
Only
and
God
become?
knows. Only God knows. Only God knows.
So all of their past punishment. But if someone's an atheist, or let me ask you another question: if someone's an atheist or someone's a Sikh and they lived a pious life and was an amazing person, would they go to hell because they don't believe in Islam?
If they rejected the monotheism of Islam and they ascribe partners to Allah, whatever.
And what
they
is partners
disbelieve
to
in-
Allah,
If
though,
they
to you?
disbelieved in Allah, they didn't even acknowledge God, and they died upon that.
Yeah. So you think do you believe an atheist would perish in hellfire forever, even if he was an amazing person, looked after his family, gave to charity, you know, done things for humanity
If he
all his
rejects
life?
Allah, then
If he genuinely,
and I'm going
Do you-
about. I'm not
but do you
going
think
about my
that's-
words and what I
but do you
believe,
think
it's
that's a
what
if he
Allah
just
compassionate God
genuinely
then?
doesn't know,
But do you think that's a
then
compassionate
Allah
God?
Ta'ala knows best, innit? But
Now,
if he,
can I say something? I'm talking about something that, you know, even may contradict my own faith. I believe, yeah, that God is compassionate. That's my own personal belief.
that?
yeah, but God is
And
not
I
only
believe,
compassionate.
I believe that, you know, He's not going to just judge you according to whether you associate partners with God or not. He's going to do the criteria is going to be much more, and also He's not going to put you in hellfire for eternity. Like, you know what eternity is? I don't think people seem to contemplate what eternity is.
Is that from a subjective point of view and an objective?
That is what is
But
eternity
your
to you?
point of view is subjective as well.
I'm going by. I'm basing my views and what I believe is on the Quran. And
Yeah, but
it's
that is.
objective.
Yeah, but that's
I'm not
your
basing it
subjective
on I'm not basing it
opinion.
on my whims and desires.
It is.
How
It
can
is
God
subjective.
punish? How can God not punish? If God is saying something,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I verified the Quran is the truth, then whatever it says goes.
No,
Yeah, but
simple
that's
as that.
your understanding of the Quran. Yeah, so I would say that this is now where you're beginning to overpower the conversation because you're conflating your subjectivity
No,
with something
don't worry.
that. No, you're
How is he
dismissing
telling me-
it.
how
You're
is he-
dismissing
how
what
are you
I'm
telling-
saying.
No, wait, brother. How are you saying that he's trying to overpower the
Okay,
conversation?
so what
Come
I'm
on,
saying
what's
is,
that?
he's
Brother,
saying,
do you believe Islam is the only way?
I'm a Muslim, yeah.
Do you believe
I'm
Islam
not.
is the only way?
I'm not going to get into the specifics.
I'm asking.
Right?
That's not specific.
Sorry?
Don't make
What I'm saying is,
I'm not like.
no, because the reason I don't get into specifics is because it gives people opportunity to call me a kafir, right? So I don't want to go down that route. So I'm not going to. But what I'm saying is, you said that this is exactly what God wants, and I know what God wants, and I know how He's going to judge people, and that's it, and that's objective. That is actually subjective. That's not objective.
It's
That's
objective,
your
bro. If
opinion,
you, wait,
and you have to
okay,
recognize
it's not.
it.
It's not. You know that is objective.
The Qur'an is the word of Allah, and
Yeah.
it's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yeah.
Then whatever it says in it, you believe in it wholeheartedly.
But
If you
Yeah.
believe in God consciously, and if you're
believe in
conscious
it wholeheartedly.
when speaking about God, and when you're remembering God, then you won't be saying what you're
But
saying.
why is God?
How
Why?
can you say-
Can I ask you a
say
question?
the way-
Can I ask you a
how
question?
can you say
I
the way
think
that
what
God
I'm
will
saying
judge
is
people
very
is
compatible.
subjective?
Every-
Because
Can I-
it's
can I-
objective.
can I
Because
answer-
wait,
can I
wait, Raj,
answer
Raj,
this?
just
Can
let
I
this
answer
go.
this
Because
question?
although we have our own reality
I
in the
have to
sense
answer
where
this.
you're seeing me out of your eyesight, and I'm
I
seeing
get what he's saying.
I'm seeing,
He's saying
I'm
that
seeing you
my
out of my
point of view
eyesight, and you
contradicts
could never
Islam,
see me.
yeah? I don't think it
through my
does
way of
because
thinking,
Islam
and the way
teaches
that
me
I
as a
see
human
it.
being,
But
I
no
am
matter-
fallible
forget all
and
of
I
that.
make mistakes.
But do you believe-
And my understanding
both
of the
of us,
Qur'an today wasn't my
stand
understanding of the Quran yesterday or
There
the
is
day
a last
before.
day.
It
That's why
changed.
we don't
Because
take
there's
our
no
own
last day. That's why.
interpretation on the
That's
sides
why.
of
Well, what do you mean by last
Yeah,
day?
take it
Are
from-
you talking
last
about
day-
the last day of like
Yeah.
judgment, Christianity, like a judment day when everyone's going to be judged, like the hellfire on earth and all that kind of
They were
stuff?
the best of Muslims.
No, I'm
Yeah.
not sure about hellfire.
Because there's a Christian narrative
what
about
he
there
said
being
and
the
what
end
the
times. and
scholars
stuff.
in
Does
the
Muslims
general
believe in that as well?
Scholars of Ahlul
judgment
Sunnah
day,
will
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we don't have that concept.
No, but
Whatever
this
you
is
want
the
to
thing
say,
now.
I'm not going about what my own interpretation of the Quran is.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
then
yeah.
people start basing.
But you
them-
are, that's the problem, but
I'm
you
not,
don't see
I'm
it.
not,
That's the
I'm not,
issue.
I'm not.
Okay, so
I'm
look,
honestly not.
so-
I'm not putting my own interpretation on the Quran. I'm going by what the Quran says.
Now, can I,
But you are that-
but
look,
can
the
I ask you
yeah.
a question? You said you believe God is loving and merciful.
He is the most merciful.
All right, God is like now. This before everyone calls me an Islamophobe. Obviously, I've already been branded that for like 2 years or whatever. Big deal. Who
come on,
cares?
man.
I need to just preface that because they always do that. If God is so merciful, why would He allow man, to make rulings under Sharia about punishing people for misdemeanor sins like adultery? I don't agree with homosexuality, but I don't believe in.
Sharia is not man-made law, by the way.
Well, for me, it sounds like it's a man-made. Because
not man-made.
I'm saying this is my own personal opinion. I don't think God is that vengeful and petty.
Show me where Sharia is
But
man-made.
I'm just saying my own personal
Can you
opinion.
show
You got
me
to,
you made a claim?
what I'm saying is that my God that I believe in, I don't think He's so petty that He will put homosexuals to death,
the same God, bro.
adulterers,
That's not up
apostates.
to me or you. That's up to the
But
Almighty.
I'm talking about my God.
But it's the same God.
It's
Stop
not.
saying
It's,
God.
it's,
Stop
it's
saying your God.
oh,
my
it's
God,
the
'cause
same God.
There's
but,
only one
Yeah,
God.
there is only one God, but my perception of God is a loving God, and not a God that is
So
going to.
is- so is God only loving? So
basically
God,
that
God will.
means
I
do what
believe
you
you.
want
I
in
don't
this
agree with
world, and there's no
homosexuality, and I think
punishment for it
God.
at all.
I believe God will
I don't
punish
think
them
that-
in the
I don't
next
think
life.
that's
I don't think man should be punishing people for doing minor sins like adultery
can I
and
ask
stuff.
you a question,
And this
yeah?
is one of the other
do you
reasons
believe
why.
in
I'm not-
When you-
No, I don't believe that. myself.
So how do you think humans are created?
I obviously believe in the evolution and stuff.
Wait. So you believe in evolution, but your God is loving.
What's wrong with that?
So your God can't create man.
Well, he didn't create Adam and Eve, in my opinion. That's just my personal opinion. I mean, it sounds just as ludicrous. I mean, you think what you're saying is quite rational. I think an Adam and Eve concept is pretty ludicrous as well.
Yeah, so when you make wudu, are you happy to make wudu in like using a tap, using running water, or do you go to a flowing river to make wudu? Well, no, there's a reason I'm asking this question.
Go on, prove it wrong.
Yeah,
asking a question,
no, I'm just asking a question. I admit it's a loaded question, but I'm just asking the question. Like, where you're happy to make it? I make it in a tap, yeah. So you think that's acceptable, right?
However, it's permissible to make
Right.
the Tayammum with soil if I needed to.
Yeah,
What's the
yeah.
point?
Okay, the point I'm making is this. I find that a lot of people that claim to follow the Salaf, right, believe that they don't apply any interpretation or context to their views, but they actually do. Because, for example, we both agree that when the Salaf made wudu in a running river, that the point was that the water was running. The point wasn't that it was a river. And we can apply that to the tap. And we say, okay, it's clean water, it's coming out. It doesn't matter that it's a tap. It doesn't matter that this tap was invented in 2018 or whatever. I'm happy to do it now. That is interpretation and context. But Salafis act like they transcend context and interpretation. They do not. Salafism itself was born in a contextual situation as well. Yeah, Abdullah ibn Abdul Wahhab wasn't free from context and interpretation. He operated in a political paradigm. So this idea that you guys completely transcend interpretation, everything you see as objective, is simply not true.
There was a lot of shirk.
I think it's about Salafi.
Crept back in.
Yeah, but why did you change the topic? That's not the topic.
I know it's sometimes it deviates. We can bring it back a bit.
Say that again, sorry.
I said that there was a lot of shirk and kufr and bid'ah that had crept back into the same land of Tawheed where Muhammad once walked.
Yeah.
People were doing all kinds of madness and craziness. Yeah. So if someone's coming, not with their own views, not with something that their own brain has concocted, but with the same methodology of Muhammad and the Salaf as-Salih.
Yeah.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with them all.
Yeah.
Grave worshipping and all this, you know, the people who label that Wahhabi, you know, they are people that normally are doing these things, and someone tells them this is kufr or shirk or whatever, they, oh brother, you're Wahhabi, because they don't like it. It goes against the.
If someone worshipped the
It's not
grave,
'cause
would they go to hell for eternity?
If you worship
Allah
anything
subhanahu wa
other
ta'ala
than
you
Allah
can't
and
say
you
that.
ascribe a partner with Him and you die upon
So
that,
is that merciful?
It's not because I don't like it. It's because that I
I'm trying to
find
ask you
people
a
that
question
follow this
about
point of
mercy
view,
and
they
God being loving.
believe that they're objective, and it's
that
so
for me
clear
is
to
God.
everyone that isn't
And
there
God
that
that
they
is
are
so
not objective.
unbelievable.
They are
I'm not trying to
subjective.
criticize Islam.
I'm a Muslim. I look at Sahih Hadiths. I look at the
So is
Qur'an, and I
Judaism.
make
It's a
my
God that's very
interpretation. I don't
vengeful.
believe that
make your
I'm
own interpretation.
based on what I believe to be the most coherent point of view. I do listen to other people, of course I do, right?
You're making your own
No,
interpretation.
I think God here will punish.
No, I think you're twisting my words.
But
When I say my own interpretation, I don't mean I pluck them out my backside. Yeah, what I'm saying is that I look at what other people say, I look at the evidence, I look at the hadith, I look at the Qur'an, and what appears to be the most rational, I go with. But I don't deny that I'm using context. I'm a human being. I don't even know if the same colour that I see on your shirt is the same colour you see. We're fallible.
when you're
Do you know what I mean? You can't. Of course I use tafsir, but to act like we're objective is ridiculous. You can't act like you're objective.
He's not loving you. It's like your mum putting you into an oven, yeah, because you made a mistake and then like burning you like for eternity. Is that a loving mum?
Yeah.
Come on, dude, man.
If anyone was to desire religion other than Islam,
Yeah.
in the hereafter they'll be among the losers. So this is what I'm saying. Islam is the only way. Do you agree with that?
Say exactly what you
Islam
said
is the
again.
only
Is Islam the only way? Yes or no?
Okay, there's also an ayah that says La hukma illa billah. So which one do you take? Do you take the ayah you said, or do you take La hukma illa billah? No, there's no judgment. There's no judgment except that of God, right? Only God can judge. So which ayah do you take now, or do you take the one that confirms the Salafi narrative? So this is the question, and this is where your interpretation comes
It's not my
in.
interpretation.
But it is. You just don't see it. That's the thing. That's the problem. You don't
You're telling me
recognize
someone
it.
who dies upon other than Islam, other than Islam, they're committing shirk. Who's Islam?
I don't judge.
There's only one Islam.
I don't judge. I don't know.
God is
Everybody say like that. That's why they kill each
Yeah.
other.
Only one Islam.
I don't judge because there could be no. Don't be dismissive. You have to let me elaborate my point of view because you're just going like that. Let me
You changed
elaborate.
the whole. You changed the
I
conversation from
haven't.
this way to this
You
way.
don't even
it's
know
still
what
the
my
same
point of view
conversation
is. You
about
just
God.
dismissed
You're
it. Can
making
I
it about your
elaborate?
point of view. We're trying to speak to Raj about Islam.
But we're still
Yeah.
we're still on the same point.
You're supposed to
It's
speak
just
about
deviated
Salafi.
slightly. We're
Maybe
coming
you
back
find
to
me
it.
too challenging or something.
Nah, you're not challenging. Trust me.
Really? Because
No,
the fact that you think that you're objective, to most people, just seems nonsensical.
No, this
because
is
you are subjective.
I know of a
You just don't
I know
acknowledge
of my
it.
If
objective
you're
reality.
Muslim, you shouldn't be trying to say Islam is the only way.
Because
Islam is the haq.
Islam is
What I'm saying is,
objective,
I don't
it's
judge
not
people
subjective.
as a Muslim because that. What if that person, for example, is mentally ill or delusional? There are so many arguments that you could go down. No, but say he said if someone associates partners with God, condemn them to hell. Why would I do
I didn't say
that?
you
No, you
condemn
said
them to
why?
hell.
Why wouldn't you say? You're implying why
We're
wouldn't
gonna burn
I
in hell
make?
for eternity.
You're saying why wouldn't I make a
What a lovely
rigid
God.
point about that? As a Muslim, I refuse to do that. What if that person is mentally ill or sees things in a different way? Why am I going to say he's a kafir? Why? There's ayahs that contradict that.
He's talking about the actual belief. He didn't tell you. He didn't talk to you about the individual. He talked to you about the belief.
Yeah.
Can you worship graves and worship other things and be a Muslim? Is that Islamic? Islamically allowed?
To worship other people is not Islamic. Yeah, of course. It's
Yeah,
not
but they're saying that they will go to hell for eternity.
but for me to say so and so will go to hell because of X, Y, and Z, I'm not going to do that. And I'm not embarrassed to not do that. I'm very proud that I'm not doing that. Don't think I'm intimidated. Yeah, I'm not going to judge people.
Is that a loving God? Is that a loving mother?
Brother, the Qur'an is not the word of God.
If that person deserves it, then he deserves it.
Allah.
Brother, the Qur'an is not our word, by the way.
Allah says.
I know,
subhanahu wa ta'ala
that's
is the one who
fine.
revealed it.
That's fine, but your understanding of that word is where your subjectivity comes in. But Salafis do
What it means
recognize
when it says
this.
only Islam.
Okay, let me give you an example. Yeah. You mentioned things that constitute takfir or someone constitute irtad.
We're not
No, okay,
mentioning
you,
takfir.
I never even made takfir. Stop.
no, so wait, you're
Brother,
not
and
understanding
the
my
Quran
point.
Says the only religion
Can
is
I
Islam.
please
What do you
elaborate?
understand?
Can I please elaborate?
What do you
Yeah, I wanna know
Because
understand?
you're cutting off what I'm saying
That's
and
why
saying
I
I'm
keep
wrong.
saying,
You have to let me.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong, brother.
Let him just speak.
I'm not
though.
dodging the
give
point.
him
I haven't even said my
So,
point.
I'm asking
Saying
you,
I'm dodging
let
it.
me make the question.
Yeah.
He's answering,
Simple
yeah.
question. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says
Yeah.
that the only religion in the sight of Allah acceptable is Islam,
Yeah.
what is your interpretation?
Okay.
What is your understanding of that?
Fine. My understanding is you would have to qualify what does it mean to be a Muslim exactly. What is Islam? There's other questions. Okay, now that's your interpretation. It is.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
They just can't
You
have a
have the
rational
biggest
conversation.
reaction.
But when they
You
first
can't
moved
have a
through,
rational
you don't know.
conversation.
No one's
Why are
dying,
you
man.
so
No
shocked?
one's dying.
What I'm saying is not outrageous. I didn't say
It's his interpretation.
If you are in a,
his interpretation
That's not
of a
an interpretation, that's
mu'min
objective.
and a kafir is his interpretation. You think it's objective, but that's actually quite arrogant to think that. It's your subjective experience. And that guy, you walked away very dismissively. I can tell you that your views
you
in
said
5
it's
years
no
will not be your views today, yet you claim to be
Who are you to
objective.
make that judgment upon him?
Brother.
Isn't that
Are
what
your
why are we
views the same
arguing?
views you had
Isn't that
5
how
years
the
ago?
Prophet Muhammad
Okay,
did?
will your views be the same views in 5 years?
Of course.
You think they'll be the same views?
I know.
Wow, okay.
You're
So
gonna
you're
have the same
objective.
views.
You actually think
Oh, I
you're
said-
objective.
I've already hold on,
I've
we just had a
crazy, man.
conversation.
I've already done my
Oh, bro,
seeking and I've already gained
hold on.
What I'm
We just had
saying
a
is,
conversation
will
where
your
I
views
said my
be
views
your
changed
views in 5
from
years'
7
time?
months ago to
About
now.
what?
Regarding religion.
Your
About
interpretation of
generally my
Islam,
ideology.
will it be
Would yours not
exactly
change
the
over a
same
period of
About
time?
Quran.
in
Regarding
5
religion,
years
about
as now?
Quran.
Yeah.
Would it not
That's
change
Quran.
if you get new
No,
information?
everything he believes about the Quran, will it be exactly the
know
same
what
in 5
reality
years'
is.
time?
No,
That's my
don't-
question.
don't-
And you can
we were
only say
talking-
your views are objective if they remain the same until you die. Because your
Can I
views are
talk?
subjective
Can
and
I
it's
talk,
arrogant to say
brother,
that
brother,
objective.
Can I talk? As a normal person, when I read Quran and it says the only deen of the religion that God has chose for the believers is Islam, if you say 5 or 10 years after that view gonna change, no.
That's not my question. With all due respect, that wasn't my
No,
question.
but the question is that is the deen of Islam chosen by Allah the only deen? Yes or no?
That's not my question. You're leading me down
our
a rabbit hole.
question is that.
My point is that your interpretation of the Quran generally
Not mine.
it is not objective.
Not mine.
It's subjective.
Not mine.
It
When
would-
Allah says in the Quran,
You're
the
picking a
only
specific
religion-
area. I'm saying that your view of the Quran in its entirety incorporates elements of subjectivity.
Do you
That's
believe-
not a controversial
Do you
view.
believe everything Allah says in the Quran is important?
Yes, of course.
So when he mentions that the only religion is Islam, is it important?
Yes,
to know?
of course it is.
Is it also objective or subjective?
My understanding of it
Subjective
will
is
always be
when
Allah
subjective
subhanahu
because
wa ta'ala
I'm
says that,
fallible.
objective
We
or
claim this
subjective?
is the word of Allah.
Look, there is
That's
a.
subjective.
We are not
You have to
Christians.
let. I'm not going to answer it the way
are not
you want me to.
Christians.
You have to let me answer the question.
not-
Yeah. When I look at something, no, you're being dismissive. Yeah. Do you want me to answer the question?
Answer.
Do you actually want me to answer it, or is it rhetorical?
But you're also speaking to this brother as well.
No.
We are
'cause-
only discussing.
Right. When.
Don't get.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Look.
The
yeah.
camera shows that we are fighting.
No, he speaks very nicely.
There are things that have innate truths,
Smile,
yeah?
smile.
For example, this is innately a fence, yeah? It's innately made of metal. But my perception of that,
Brother,
there
we're
is,
talking about the word of Allah and you're talking about the...
you can't
the
have
But-
a,
but you're
I'm
trying to
really
say
sorry,
that
you
as a
can't have
human
rational
being-
conversation. I'm trying to engage with you in an intellectual way.
Are you
You're
trying to
just
say
being really
as
dismissive.
but are you trying to say
There is a gap. There's a gap in perception between what we see and what is inherent. There is a gap. And for you to say that your eyes are completely infallible and there is no gap in interpretation or
That means that you think you're
understanding
perfect.
between the thing that you're looking at and your understanding, that is actually un-Islamic. You're telling me that you're infallible and you're perfect. Yeah? There is interpretation. There is
Allah
subjectivity.
says this is the book from me. The word of Allah,
Yes.
not joke.
Okay, but your understanding of the
When I
word of
read
Allah
the
is
word of
subjective. What's wrong with saying that?
But it's a clear-cut message.
Yes, but
But you're a
I
human
chose
being.
Islam, the only religion.
Yes, that's right.
in the same way.
You're saying as a human
right.
being, you're subjective.
Simple.
Does
Yes.
everyone
So when you're
understand it the
reading,
same
is
way?
that controversial?
Yeah, it's not.
Have
Have I
Here's the
said like
problem.
go out and kill a thousand? Why is everyone like, oh, this is crazy?
I mean, the thing is, by saying that it's not subjective, hold on. By saying that, they're trying to say that they're perfect.
I chose my
They're
son.
We're not saying
perfect.
that we're perfect.
I know, but so
you're
when you're
saying
reading,
Allah Ta'ala is
what I'm saying,
People
what I'm saying,
understand the
Salafis act like they transcend any form
Who
of
said anybody here was
Do you
Salafi?
say
When you first know
It has. The guy that was here
when
before.
when you first made a point, you said
It was an event
Salafi.
that happened.
Bro, it's got nothing to do with
Nobody here is claimed to be Salafi.
but you can then
And
you
now
They have.
you say Salafi.
we
Someone
don't believe in the
said
word of
they
What's your
Allah.
problem with Salafis, bro?
When it says
My
this
problem
a
is, my problem with Salafis is their intellectual arrogance. They claim to be objective. They claim to exist in this paradigm that just floats on, and it doesn't work like that.
no, he's not saying that. He's saying that human beings are subjective.
I'm
Is that what
not
you're
talking
saying?
about Allah's word. I'm
talking
talking
about
about
humans.
your understanding of Allah's word.
To ask you a good question.
So
So you can read the Quran and understand it straight.
how was it? Okay, tell me why it was wrong.
There are clear words. Of course, I understand clearly.
Yes.
Simplest
I'm one.
Disagree with you now.
No, you don't know what one means.
Aki,
And you said that's the
Aki, are you hearing what he's saying?
Oh, go on, what's he saying?
What am I saying that's so outrageous? Am I saying go and molest
No, but
her?
you
What am
hear
I
what
saying
he's
that's so controversial? I've just said that you're subjective.
He's saying as a
It's
human
not
being, when you're
controversial.
reading something, even if that is objective,
I
objective
don't
from
get
God,
why it's
as a human
controversial.
being, you're still subjective.
Calm down,
When you're
calm
reading,
down.
you're
No,
still
it's just like
subjective.
it's like
You're human being, you're not
2018,
perfect.
and like people
So
still
when you
like,
read
it's
something,
just
you'll
crazy.
be
You have to
subjective when you're
calm
reading it.
down. They will answer by themselves.
No, but what we're reading and
But he's not
understanding.
subjective.
It's not even saying
You want to
controversial.
be one, but understanding is different.
Two people can read the same book and maybe get different
And you know
interpretations of
what?
the
The
word.
worrying
each
thing
other.
is,
Objective.
these
I know, but as a
people
human
are the
being, you
most
have one
confident in their
understanding.
views. They're the
I
ones
claim
that come
that
and they
my
dominate
understanding is right.
conversation.
When you're reading
And the
that
ones that
book,
have the
it's
humility,
right.
I know that my
Two
views
people
can be
read it in a
wrong.
different
And when
way.
you start fighting,
But we get ridiculed and everyone's like, oh my God, how can you say it?
One interpretation.
so what he said, he solves the problem.
The book is
Stop
still
telling each
Yeah,
other.
but I
This is clear.
don't
But you
think
as a human
I
being,
chose Islam.
You think it's clear.
Maybe, yeah.
I think my
may
understanding
read
is
the same
clear.
book, but have a
Everybody thinks his
different
understanding is
interpretation.
clear.
Make me
Because you're
understand what do
subjective.
you
Because there's two interpretations.
Okay, look,
From what?
yeah.
I was trying to say to him that
I
when it comes to
chose
subjectivity, you
the
could have a
religion
book,
of
yeah,
Islam
and
is
that
the
book
only
is
religion.
objective in the sense
It's
that
clear. Yeah, that's
the written word is exactly the same.
religion.
But two
Yeah.
people, me and you,
But
could read the
if I
same book
understand
and have a
the
different
religion,
subjective opinion about the book.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean
What
the
do you
book is not
understand?
objective.
Yeah, exactly.
When
So
we
is
come
that
down the road,
It's not controversial.
Why
when
is
we-
everyone like,
when we
oh
start-
my God,
no,
it's
no,
like,
I mean, it's trying to say that
agree
you're
with
saying
you,
the Quran is
but
not
when we come
objective,
to
but you're
detail,
saying human beings are
yeah, we
subjective.
start
Yes,
fighting,
that's
which
what
is
I'm
true.
saying.
Come, I
Yes,
think
that's what I'm saying.
When you agree with me, you should stop there. You don't say but. The truth
Yes.
is black and white. There's nothing in the middle.
But
Yeah,
you're
that's
saying
a-
you're a
that's-
perfect
that's-
human being that you can
that's
read
something in the
something
middle.
and
That's
somebody
some
next
many
to is
things
going to
in
read
the
it exactly the
middle.
same.
Even Quran saying-
After could read the book, yeah, the
Would you
book could be
understand
exact
by
same book
Yeah.
and perfect, but we would all read it in different ways.
Yeah, but one of us has to be white.
can't understand this.
Not necessarily. There could be a third option. There could be a fifth option. There could be a sixth option. It's arrogant to think that you've got the right view. It's so arrogant, and you guys do not see it. It's ridiculous. Don't try to make me feel ashamed or intimidating of acknowledging this. No, because you're like, oh my God. It's not a controversial point of view. You are subjective, and you need to have the humility to recognize
Take
this.
the Quran
You're not
out.
objective.
No, no, we-
Your
hold on,
views,
we go,
I
bro.
guarantee, if I meet you in 5 years, hand on my heart, I promise you, your views on Islam will change.
That's if
It
in 5
will
years of
change
my
in
life.
5 years.
That's if-
And then you can't tell me that what you thought was
I don't
objective.
even know if I'm going to be alive in 5 years, bro. How do you say that?
Okay,
you
if you're
said a
alive
while
in 5
ago-
years, your views will 100% change.
But you did say a little while ago that you're not going to change your
Your
mind.
views will change every day. Yeah. So if
What
what
about Islam?
regarding everything, your views always change. You learn a new
Are you saying
language,
you
you
know
learn a
everything
new
about
meaning in
Islam
Arabic.
already?
You understand what.
No. I'm
So
saying
you might
right-
change your mind over a period of time. You might learn new things about Islam.
Ask him, does UK change? 10 years, 20 years,
Yeah.
UK. There's a place called UK. Does it change?
No, but my understanding of what is England and what is British culture and what am I in this country does change. That's the
But
point.
does it change?
There is a gap
But does
between the
UK change?
innate objective and your subjective
What do you mean-
interpretation.
what do you mean by
That's
does
what I'm
UK
trying to
change
say.
then?
But there's UK change.
That's not my argument.
Country UK code is
It's
changed.
not my argument with all respect. My
That's what you're
argument.
arguing about.
No, it's not.
What are you talking
See,
about? Are
you
you
don't.
talking-
No,
No, but
you're
you need
telling
to
me.
define what you're saying. Are you talking about the
You're
land?
telling me.
You said that's your interpretation.
You're telling me. No, wait.
That's your interpretation.
Wait. correct. You're telling me that's my argument. Do you want to know what my argument is? Because that's not my argument.
Bro, you be speaking about 20 minutes and nobody knows what your argument is.
All right, let me try.
My argument
what you need
is
to do, bro,
simple.
bro, bro.
It's
Started the
very
conversation,
simple.
and now
Okay.
you've got the-
Is there an objective Qur'an? Yes. Am I, as a human being,
Subjective.
infallible and can see through this glass window and know everything about it? No, I'm imperfect.
Bro, can I say something?
I have a limited life. I might die tomorrow. I might realize a new thing. I could be a madman.
What's that got
My
to do
views
with-
are in,
What's
right.
that got
so-
to do with the Muslim or the Quran? Muslim quoting the only way.
He's saying, as a
is
human
Islam.
being, you
It's-
are subjective when you're reading
interpreting
something.
that. Islam could be many things. What if I say La ilaha illallah and I fly a plane in the World Trade Center? Well, then what? It could mean different things to different people. It's your interpretation.
What's the comparison there, bro?
You find it controversial
I'm
that
not gonna
I
lie,
said.
Yeah, don't bring controversial things.
You find it controversial that I said that the definition of someone being a Muslim is them saying La ilaha illallah. I said that that's your subjective interpretation of the Quran. You found that very controversial. I don't think it's controversial because Bin Laden says La ilaha illallah. Yeah? I don't think it's controversial to say that to view him as a Muslim is subjective. You are being subjective, but you don't like acknowledging that. The other guy ran away. You guys find my views strangely
You know what he said?
weird.
What did he
I don't
say?
know why. It's not a controversial
He
view.
said,
It's not controversial. Salafis do not know everything, and you need to have the humility to accept this. Because
you said Salafis are not. Bro, I'm
this
actually-
park is dominated by Salafis. This park is completely dominated. My problem is they're pushing people out of Islam. They're making non-Muslims hate Islam
you
because of
obviously
their
got agenda
intellectual
against
arrogance.
Salafis, innit?
Yes, I do, because of their
are
intellectual
some
arrogance.
Go and do some research then, innit?
Don't be patronising.
No, I
Yeah?
won't be patronising.
No, because the other guy identified as a Salafi.
With the Salafis,
I do, yes.
And you need to speak to them.
I tried to, but he ran away. I tried to, but
the brother never talked about Salafi issues.
he said that I
This
follow.
got
Yes,
nothing to do with
didn't he say I follow Ahl Salaf?
no,
He
no.
said that. He defined himself as a
No,
Salafi,
he-
and he
that
ran
doesn't-
away.
that doesn't matter.
I confronted him. He ran away.
What he
Yeah,
talked about had nothing to do with Salafism.
it did.
Islam.
It did. With all respect.
And Islam is the only religion.
La
That's right,
ilaha
but
illallah Muhammad
explain what
Rasulullah.
Islam
You're not
means.
listening to what I'm saying.
Got nothing to do with Salafi.
You can I answer?
You got a problem with Salafis? Talk to them.
I told you I do. I'm not
No,
denying
talk
that.
to them.
Can I answer your question?
Talk
No,
about
I've already spoken to Anwar.
He's a nice guy, bro.
You're coming here.
The guy said that he has an objective understanding of the Quran. When I told him, when I told him as a human being that he is fallible and no one's perfect, this guy was like, astaghfirullah. The other guy ran off. I don't understand what's so controversial about that.
Because two
No,
I
he's saying
said
human beings
you
are
misunderstood my
subjective.
argument. I said human beings'
beings.
interpretation of the objective Quran is a subjective
what's wrong with
interpretation.
that?
There's nothing outrageous about that claim. Why is that
So
ridiculous?
you could read one book
Is
and
that like?
one
Did
interpretation.
I
Someone
say?
else could read the same book.
Did I say go and chop Raj's head off? What's so ridiculous about
What you're
that?
saying is that
Even
you're
Prophet Muhammad
subjective.
said the same thing. He said people will divide into 72 groups.
See, that's in line with with my view than their view. They think everything they can see is perfect and immaculate. I know that I don't know
We
everything.
understand.
Muslims.
We understand today's.
No, they like you and the other guy that ran off.
no,
You
brother.
just
What about
seem,
them? They
you
go.
just think
Brother,
that you
what
can
about
see through this glass window. Your views,
Brother.
I hand on my heart.
Brother,
Your views will
simple
change in
question was
5
asked to
years,
you
and you cannot tell me your objective.
About the word of
Question
Your
Allah.
views
asked
will
you
change.
about
Yes,
what is the
your
Islam the
interpretation
only
of the
way
Quran
you
will
can
change.
Even
in
by a
5 years.
minuscule, it might just be like a
understand
tiny
Quran
little
the way
thing. You
the
can't say it will
Prophet
never
did.
change.
No, the Prophet was much more superior to me in his knowledge and his
But he
understanding.
told us how he understood.
Yeah, but
in his books,
yes,
in
but
his
I am
hadith.
fallible and I don't understand everything the Prophet
You
says
don't understand to be a
necessarily.
Muslim,
When
just
I
to say
say-
La ilaha illallah.
Yeah, and I have the humility to recognize that. It's my subjective
saying like
interpretation.
Hold on, you're
Isn't
saying
it?
you're
I
not
have
perfectly
human-
human being, so
About the word of Allah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not.
you're not, which is nothing wrong with
What's
that.
wrong with that?
I'm not
Okay,
perfect.
can
You're not
Quran be
perfect.
wrong?
We are not perfect.
My interpretation of the Quran can be wrong.
No, I'm not saying your interpretation.
Yeah.
What do we read today?
No, because we believe the Quran is unchanged.
Thank you.
But
So
my
how can you-
interpretation of the Quran can be wrong.
Can two people?
Is that linked? Why don't you crucify me? Is that like a controversial?
You need to answer a question first.
Don't go extreme.
No, but why is that?
What are you talking about?
Why is it so outrageous? What I'm saying.
Because you're saying my interpretation.
It can be wrong, yes, and you need the humility to accept that.
Yes, you are
be
wrong,
wrong.
yes,
You can be
but
wrong.
the Prophet's interpretation can't be wrong.
But your interpretation
you know what
of
you're
the
doing.
Prophet's
You know-
interpretation can be wrong.
You know what
That's
you're
what I'm
doing.
telling you.
You know what
But
you're
you
doing.
think,
Nobody can be wrong.
but they think.
How he does
He's
it?
saying it's subjective. When somebody
He's
says
not. He's saying that
The Prophet
he's saying that the words can be perfect.
You agree
But
with
saying
what
as
the
a
brother
human
said,
being,
you go,
you're fallible. So when you read something, you may
Yes.
interpret it in a way that is different from somebody else. Can you not see the? Can you not see the
Hey,
logic?
Rod, anyway, man, this guy just.
No, I didn't attack you earlier.
No, we didn't.
You know when I get on camera, I'm gonna go deep. I'm not some little pussycat.
Yes.
Yeah, but
What's
I'm saying,
gonna happen, man?
no, but I'm saying when you're
Yes.
on camera and when you're off camera,
Do you know what I'm like, man?
yeah, but bro, you
I've
have
got
to
Raj, the speaker's corner,
Yeah,
and I've got
so-
Raj, the guy off the camera.
yeah, but why
You need to get used
yeah,
to
but why do
it.
you got?
I'm the same person, but I
Personally,
do have a bit more
I look at the
performance.
different tafsir
Right.
and I look
Just the
at
way I
the
am.
context
A
of the
narcissist.
guy that made that tafsir. Who is he? When was he born?
Narcissist.
Who was he subsidized by? Which political
I know, but
organizations
Paul,
is he
I'm
involved
gonna
in?
work on them.
And then,
know
given
you got
all the
faults,
bigger
you're gonna work
picture,
on them.
I
You
make
prove
a
yourself
judgment.
judgment.
But my
then you're
judgment
gonna-
can
then
be
you're
wrong
gonna-
because
you're gonna
I'm not
see
perfect.
That you have
My views can change.
another image to the public.
No, no, I'm the
Osama.
same person, but when I'm in a debate or
You're
a
not in the same
talk,
person. You know, you're not the same person. When you're off camera, you're actually
No,
quite nice.
when I'm off
the camera
camera,
comes on,
I'm
only
not in a situation where I'm defending something. So obviously when he's having a conversation, when I have to defend or debate something, I'm in a more combative mood. Whether that's right or wrong, it's probably wrong, but that's just the way I'm at the moment. Maybe that will change over time.
It's not okay.
See,
I
I'm
don't.
ashamed of it.
Wait, please. Yeah, I don't want to come across wishy-washy, and that's not my intention. Yeah. If you tell me that verse, I would need to go away and I would need to look at the context of it. Okay, I'm not just going to say I agree or disagree. Yeah, because there are other verses that seemingly, I'm not saying the Qur'an contradicts itself. That's not my point, but they seemingly contradict. Like la hukma illa billah. Then I need to see what was happening when was this a Meccan or a Medinan surah? What's the tafsir? What's the ayah before it? What's the ayah after it? So when the guy asks me a clear-cut question, and I know it suits the Wahhabi narrative to be like, yes, this is haram, yes, this is,
What they're saying
and then
is-
everyone claps me and says, mashallah, is it? But that's not how life works. Do you know what I mean? So,
I'm gonna poop on your head when I go to your house.
exactly. And with this mentality, this Wahhabi mentality, then all these
I might blind
all
them
these
with my
philosophers,
Don't do
they're
it.
wasting their time. The ilm of Islam, ijtihad, kalam, all of this science of Islam and interpretation is a waste of time because so-and-so in the park in Speaker's Corner knows it all and Ibn Khaldun doesn't know anything and Ibn whatever. Do you know what I mean?
No, I'm doing it at him.
It's
I'm
so
doing it- I'm
arrogant.
doing it my
It's so
other
arrogant.
people on there. Look at
It's khallah.
agree with a lot of interpretation in the Quran talking about.
The thing is, I think that there's an identity crisis in England at the moment with Muslimin, yeah? When you see Arabs, my parents are Moroccan, yeah? In Morocco, they didn't have these problems.
You wanna come in here, bro?
They didn't think that they knew all the answers. They would go and they would listen to their friend's opinion or their mum's opinion, and they'd have humility about it. Now, you've got Muslims in England, they're trying to grab onto their identity, and the shortcut way to do this is a 1 + 1 = 2 method, you know? Benul Bez said this, and so it's this, and that's it. If you say anything is haram, you're not in this gang. It's a gang, and you know a lot of these people, they have a gang mentality. They do. If you look at the way they interact with people, they've just moved from one gang to another. A lot of that's why the converts in prisons they tend to take a Wahhabi mentality because it's a gang mentality. You're just moving from one gang to another where everyone in your echo chamber agrees with you and applauds you and says mashallah subhanallah, and everyone that disagrees with you calls you a kafir. It's a gang. And it's arrogant. You need to have humility. Your views are subjective. End of story.
You're talking about Wahhabis and Salafis and all that.
A lot of
People
people
are asking
here
you
are.
fundamentals of Islam. You're asking you simple things, and you can't say clear. You can't say it clear. So why are you talking about Wahhabis
And I'm not ashamed of that.
and Salafis?
I'm not ashamed of that.
No.
Do you want me to
So-
be ashamed
so
of
you
that?
have a problem. You have a problem about your Islam. That your Islam is not. a simple thing is like Islam. In Islam, in the Qur'an, Allah says the only religion.
You see, he wants me to be ashamed of
Ask him,
ignorance.
ask
He
him
wants
calm.
me to be embarrassed to say I don't know. I'm
you're
never
human.
going to be embarrassed
You're
about
human.
that. I'm never going to be,
you're a
and
human.
he's not going to intimidate me. He's not going
no,
to put me in a
don't play
corner
victims.
to say,
Don't play
I'm so
victims like
embarrassed that I
somebody's
don't know the
attacking you.
answer
he's
to an
not,
Islamic
he's not.
question.
He's asking,
I'm not
what the
embarrassed.
simple
I don't
question-
know what it
No,
means.
no, no.
So what?
Let's come to
So
the
what?
point.
No,
Let's come to the point. What's the simple question?
Victim to you.
I'm not.
That somebody is doing something to you.
No,
and
it's
now
a
you've
gang.
been attacked.
No, it's a gang.
No, don't do that.
This
simple.
mentality
Just
is
say
a
one
gang,
thing.
and you
We're
know
having a
what?
normal
I'm not going to
conversation.
be intimidated
We're
by it
having a normal
anymore. I'm not going to be
conversation.
intimidated
We're
by it.
having a normal, simple conversation.
Sorry?
Where are you getting your knowledge from?
First of all, I'm not a theologian.
He was
I
not
studied.
following the conversation.
Can I answer your question? Can I actually answer your question?
He's normally friendly.
Or is it? Did you think you were just going to say something clever and like?
He was not following the conversation. You cannot ask him.
He's just asking the question, and then I say, it, and he's like,
Calm down.
Can I answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah? Fine. I'm a political scientist. I'm not a theologian. I'm doing a PhD at the moment, okay? That's my domain. I'm not a theologian, okay? However, because of political science and because of my work in like counterterrorism, stuff like this, I have looked into a lot of issues of aqidah and fiqh and stuff like that. So I'm not like
Counter-terrorism.
yeah.
So from
Yeah,
where?
What's it got?
So
I like
who's your
it, I like
teacher?
it, I
Who's your
like
knowledge? Where did you get? So like,
Yeah, I
How many
I
jihadis
find-
you locked up
I
there?
look at the discourse that was happening between the Ash'aris, the Maturidis, and Mu'tazilis, and I find that quite fascinating.
From who?
And
Where'd you-
from different authors. I'm not going to give you the debate, unfortunately.
Because
So.
someone just told me, yeah, obviously, that like, if you're not knowledgeable, if you're not that knowledgeable, if you
I've already
No, you know what
conceded
this guy
that.
just said?
I've already
One
conceded.
second,
That
because-
wasn't my
brother,
argument.
this brother just said to me, I said to him, Bin Baz said Saddam is a kafir. He said, no, he never. Where's your evidence?
No, I didn't know. I didn't
no,
know.
I'm
I
saying,
never knew that.
you started saying to me, where's your evidence? Bin Baz said that. I said, brother, look on the internet, look at it. He goes, no. I said, all right, go ask Shamsi. So he went up to Shamsi. He goes, did Bin Baz, who's the sheikh of the Wahhabis, say Saddam is a kafir, clear-cut kafir? He said, yes, he did.
So I took it.
No, I'm just saying.
Alright, I humbled myself. I took it.
I know, brother. I know. What I'm trying to say is, at the end of the day, the brother here, he's trying to say he's doing a lot of research. Yeah. I don't know what he's researching about. Yeah. But in life, whatever comes to you, you need to do research. In-depth research.
That's why because when someone said,
I was going to say something
someone said to
controversial.
me,
so I was gonna say-
like Allah, it's subjective. So I'm trying to.
See, this
This
is
is
why
why, like,
it's
she
so
is.
frustrating
That's
talking
why.
to
That's
people
why
here
I
because
didn't.
they don't understand
That's why I came to you and I to clarify.
Fine.
That's why I came to you.
I said to him, his interpretation of what constitutes Islam and Iman from the objective Qur'an is his subjective interpretation of the objective book. That's what I've said.
He's saying, look, if you got two books, if you got a book here and you got three people reading the same book, as human beings, because we're not perfect, we will all have our own interpretation of that book to a certain degree. What is wrong with that? The book could be perfect.
And you know, let me tell you why saying that his interpretation of La ilaha illallah constitutes as Islam, that's not controversial. Do you know why? Bin Laden, did Bin Laden make Shahada?
That's known by people.
Did Bin Laden make Shahada? He probably did. I'm sure he did. In Salah you make Shahada, yeah? So, okay, so what then? What does it mean? Is it completely invalid the fact that he flew a plane into a building or killed people? Is that invalid? Because he made Shahada, he's therefore a pious Muslim? It is your subjective interpretation of the Qur'an. Simple as that. But these people pretend that their views are objective.
But do you know what it is? Like, let's say if I make it
You're saying you're perfect
I'll give
then.
an example.
Yeah.
See, like, if I don't know something,
Can I just say something? You are talking complete sense.
Thank you.
Everybody around you,
Right.
everybody watching the video is going to say you're talking complete sense. Unfortunately, in this kind of like echo chamber that we got now, they're going to start making you think you're crazy. You're not. You're talking sense.
what I'm trying to say, right, is that,
I think I know you.
brother,
know.
what I'm trying to say
Yeah,
is
yeah,
that,
I
you know
think
what
I
it
know.
All
is?
this time we've got on camera together.
Yeah.
7 months.
That one.
What I'm trying to say,
Yeah, talks me to Amin.
what's your name, brother? Sorry, brother.
Usama.
Mohammed, yeah?
Mohammed, nice
What
to
it is that, you know, I was having a conversation with my brother right now, yeah? Honestly, I live in you. We debate for so long, sometimes we don't know who's sincere, who's not. Sometimes we might debate with someone, we don't know if he's sincere. I mean, he might be sincere and you think, oh, he's wrong. Definitely wrong. So that's what I thought, the brother, yeah, he was like, he was pulling my leg. When he said, we were talking about the concept of takfiris, right? And obviously, like, the conversation went different way, innit? And he said, you know, obviously, like, it's Saddam Hussein, kafir, Sheikh Ibn Baz, a Sunni scholar, he said he said that Saddam Hussein is a kafir. At first, I didn't know. I thought he was having me on because obviously, you know, like. He's a Shia, so I'm a Sunni, right? So I thought, but I never knew he was telling the truth. So he said, let's talk to Shamsi. So we talked to Shamsi. He confirmed it. Yeah, he said it. So I never knew. So I humbled myself. Said, okay, I apologize.
But that's what I'm saying, yeah. But the thing is, you know what's really interesting? What you said to me, where do you get your knowledge from? Yeah. I hear this a lot from the Wahhabi types. They say it to me all the time. Okay, fine. A Wahhabi is a politicized Salafi. In my opinion, it's a political Salafi. Okay.
So you can't say
brother. Can I ask you a question?
But what I find,
you can't say people in prison.
Yeah, I'll come to you. I promise. Yeah, just let me close this, and we'll right.
Go on.
What I find is, have you heard of the Dunning-Kruger effect?
No.
Right. So it's a cognitive bias where if you don't know much, you think you know a lot, right? And the people that aren't very well read, they tend to be very sure in their views, and they tend to tell people that are widely read. They ask them, "Where do you get your knowledge from?" When actually, I'm thinking. Maybe I need to be more arrogant. Maybe I need to be the first one now to go, where do you get your knowledge from? Do you know what I mean?
You know what it is?
Why don't I start doing that now?
What it is,
that's fine. But don't assume that I'm not widely read simply because I disagree with your views.
It's like people that do physicists.
By you saying Wahhabis, it already shows you're not widely read.
That I disagree. That's a presumption.
He's got a point.
Let's clarify something.
Abdul Wahhab, is a person that studied the religion.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So what it is, a person that never studied his thesis or his background and his works, we can't comment on it. Like I'll give example. I've debated a lot of Sufis. In the past.
They've been here?
No. This is in the past.
Scared them off?
In the past. No,
I like Sufis, man.
But what I'm trying to say is that they and some Shias as well, and Shias as well. They talk about. They say, oh, Wahhabi, this, he's that. I say, listen, have you studied or looked into his work?
Yes.
And from a non-biased. You're saying
I've always biased.
So what it is
that they haven't. They don't. So the sort of stuff they talk about. It's not even in what he said. Oh, like
okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So for example,
give me an example.
No. They just say like, for instance, that you know what I mean? That he killed like innocent people. Something like that. One guy came up to me. You know what I'm saying? I said to him, where did you get that from? Like, tell me.
Are you still here?
Tell me.
So what's
going
the
home?
definition of a Wahhabi?
Wait for me.
The definition has changed, and now it's become a politicized.
Are you going home now?
But I wouldn't say
that.
You agree with me, though, right?
I'm going to be here for a bit.
I would say
right.
the definition in the past was a follower of Abdullah ibn Abdul Wahhab.
According to who?
It seems logical to say that because
it is not logical, brother. Because I'll tell you why.
Can I elaborate?
Go on.
Yeah.
Go on.
If someone is a Eflatuni, he's a follower of Plato. Yeah. If someone's an whatever. Yeah.
No.
So if someone's a Wahhabi, it would be logical to infer that they would have traditionally been.
Brother, if I don't know about Plato's work, can I comment on Plato's work?
The principle of Islam you were talking about, every Muslim agree. Debating about. So
No, you're misrepresenting my argument.
No,
so don't try to do that.
It was about Islam.
No.
And you were,
just because everyone agrees, it doesn't mean you're right.
Let me make something very clear, yeah? You're misinterpreting my argument and you're misleading him. That was not my argument. I want to make. Was that my argument? No. My argument wasn't that what the Qur'an says about Islam. Please, you need to look at me because you keep misunderstanding what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm being very clear now. My argument wasn't that the Qur'an isn't objective. Yeah? My argument is that people's understanding of the Qur'an is subjective. Do you get that now? You still don't understand what I'm saying?
No. Would they be subjective?
No. Because
are you boycotting me?
You're looking for the truth. So why would they be?
Because human beings are imperfect. God,
and subjective.
That's subjective though. That's still subjective.
imperfect people are not objective by definition.
He's saying people, not the Quran.
Yes,
He's saying the people.
that interpret the Quran are subjective.
He's saying, look,
but he seems to find this very difficult to
He's saying
understand.
that the Quran could
I
be
don't get
perfect,
what's so
but the people
difficult.
reading it are imperfect. So,
So hold on.
it's subjective
so
when they're reading
people
it.
that read, people
yes.
that understand it.
Yeah, so that's
Yes.
it. Is that
But
right?
he's still
You
still
could
got
read
this
something
opinion. I don't know
and have a
why.
different
It's not true. So
interpretation
that's
than
why.
me.
That's why I asked you. That's why I asked you. You know, so you know, like I wasn't trying to get defensive. You know, like when I asked you,
came very aggressive.
No, it's not. You know, I was having a debate. You know,
He's normally so nice.
I'm not really angry
He
about
agrees, he just don't want to say it.
He doesn't want to say it. He's insisting that I'm like. It's so annoying.
No, it's passionate. It's not. I'm not angry.
No, but see, you have to understand, he has never said that the
I
Quran is not
understand
objective.
that. But you know
He
why I
has
asked
said
you
that. He has said that
You know why I asked
the
you?
people
You know why I
are
asked
subjective.
you?
The guy told you.
No. The guy told me.
they
But I
misrepresented
clarified.
my
I wanted to clarify with you. I may came with a strong undertone.
Yeah.
I wasn't angry.
That's
or
fine,
anything.
we all
So
get
what I'm trying to
angry.
say, no, I was
You
passionate.
looked angry, man.
No, I'm just passionate.
I'm
a passionate guy. Sometimes, you know, sometimes, you know, I know
I looked round, I was like, who's
I'm a
that?
passionate guy.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is that the reason why I told you that where you get your knowledge from is that
Is there any debate between
when
Yes,
people,
there is.
when people
I'll come to
quote
that.
stuff,
Yeah.
like you understand, it's like
There is
like,
a debate.
They quote
argument about
different
that?
types of
I will
scholars.
get to that. I will get
They
to that.
quote
Just
different type of scholars. You
Yeah.
understand innit? So this guy said this guy said that.
Yeah.
Quran and Sunnah. You understand innit?
Yeah.
So everything from the Quran and you got the Sunnah and you got the Tabi'in and you got the scholars.
Yeah.
So like when you quote and you look at this guy said this guy said that,
Yeah.
and then you can provide evidence in that. It's like school. It's like in school when you do an essay.
Yeah,
the reference
100%.
point. You say, listen, I got this from this author,
okay.
that author, that author, that author.
I get that.
Because anything it become hearsay. Do you understand?
I get that, but the problem is that, okay, I know like you guys are going to say I've got a gripe with Wahhabis, right? But I tend to find that if I don't reference an author that they don't agree with, then that constitutes lack of knowledge, right? They say, oh, you see, you're ignorant, you're in the alarm or whatever. So you can't actually win the conversation. The only way that my sources would be credible is if I have their sources. But what if I think their sources are not credible?
Have you-
What scope does that leave me?
I'm the same
Therefore,
situation
all
with
Wahhabis
Adnan
are
Rashid.
always going to think that I'm ignorant because by definition I'm not following their scholars. So I have to be ignorant because I'm not following the people that they think are enlightened. Do you see
So
what I'm
you're
saying?
basically always wrong then.
Yeah, you're always wrong.
Yeah, I've had that as well,
always
yeah. You
wrong.
can't be
What is
right.
it what happened? Because what it is, I always get this. Have you ever looked into Sheikh Abdullah bin Wahhab's book? Yeah?
Yes, I have.
And if you have, do you understand in it? What is this term Wahhabi? Because people always misquote. People, what it is, it's easy to misquote. You can write a book, someone else might misquote it. Do you understand? Someone else might write the same book you wrote and misquote you.
Fine.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that game can easily be played. Do you
Yeah,
understand?
agreed. But
Everyone can misquote them.
You understand
Yes,
innit? No, I'm just saying it.
everybody.
No, I'm
Yeah.
just, anyone can lie. No, anyone can lie about someone.
Who do you think we should
Lie
follow?
and misquote.
Yeah, lie about someone. Write a book and lie about someone.
okay, I think
So people-
for me it doesn't
You know what I'm
come to specific people. The problem that I see, and I could be wrong, and correct me. Yeah, yes I do.
You're a Quranist.
No, I'm not. I take the hadith, I take context, right? I think that Muslims should be reading wider than theology. They should be reading politics, they should be reading history, and they should understand the context. But yeah, like they used to in the golden age. Yeah, but now they don't. Not all of them. You're right. Okay, but there is this Puritan version of Islam, which is just like you take from Bin al-Baz and you take from Bin al-Kida, and that's it. And everyone else that doesn't talk in this theology paradigm is ignorant. And you shouldn't read Karen Armstrong, or you shouldn't read history, or you shouldn't look at the latest journal on JSTOR because it's irrelevant. It's not
I've realised
irrelevant.
that as
It's
well.
highly relevant. Because when certain surahs and certain hadith came, there were political dynamics at the time. There were Jews migrating to different areas, Arabs migrating. There was like a social problem. You know, when tax was introduced, there was a context to that. But people are they're just not interested in this.
So you're talking about more of a holistic
And
kind of view on
exactly.
history.
And you know what the irony? These people come to people that try to read widely. They impose themselves. That's why I'm being a bit passionate, because I'm reacting to it now. And they're like, what's your knowledge? Who do you read? You're so ignorant. Do you know what I'm saying? The ones that are widely read, they question themselves. And the ones that are not widely read, they're so sure about themselves. They think all their
I
views
think,
are
I think what you're trying to say is an argument that I've had as well. Let me just say something. A lot of people from the Indian subcontinent, when they become Muslim, they will only look at sources that are Muslim.
Yeah.
So when I try and speak about stuff that is Indian history prior to Islamic history, it's shirk, and they won't take anything into account. Even if you have stuff like the Rig Vedas, you may not agree with the Rig Vedas, but it's an amazing book and it has some truth within it. But because they don't want to take anything un-Islamic, they will disregard even good information.
Yeah, 100.
No, truthfully, I've seen it all my life.
I've seen it. You know what?
If it's shirk or it's something like that, they will be like, all right,
I know I'm coming across as very stern right now, but honestly, inside, I'm crying. I swear to God, because do you know why?
Not everyone, but a lot.
You're making out everyone does.
No, I said a lot. I'll reframe.
Listen, we're becoming so ignorant. It's unbelievable. We're pushing people out of Islam. We're doing ourselves a disservice.
Some of them. All right.
People come to this park, they dominate conversations. They don't want to hear people. They think they're objective. They think they know everything, and then people just hate us because of it. This
How
is
much
what we
hate?
need to
How
understand.
much hate?
You're not getting hate.
Oh, come on, man. Come on.
Thank you.
Come on. Give me hate.
Really?
Yeah, he's amazing, this guy, man. He's great. You may think that everyone hates you and you're wrong, but you're not. You're actually talking the most sense.
Thanks,
and people that are watching the video, I guarantee you would probably say this guy's talking a lot of sense. But unfortunately, the group mentality will make you think you're crazy.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
It's about if we have an argument, you have to every argument has to be backed by reference, facts. You have to look at the same, and things look up for subjective.
But he was being attacked about something that was so simple. All he said was that the Quran is. I'm not saying the Quran perfect. He would say the Quran is perfect, but humans are subjective and fallible.
Like I say,
and so if we, but what I'm trying to say, he was being really kind of like harangued.
Everyone was like,
and so three of us would read the same book. Three of us would read the same book, but have a different interpretation. It doesn't mean the book's wrong.
You know, when you talk Arabic,
he got a lot of
apparently you're
stick
more
for
religious.
like around half an
Which
hour.
when you talk to Arabs, it just seems ridiculous to us. Yeah, non-Arabs kind of drop Arabic and it's like, oh, I'm so holy. You're just saying another language. It's not like, but the guy is like, oh, khalas, it's finished. You don't even know my point. Like, it's not controversial.
Earlier on when you were talking about difference in dialect, and you were saying, where you from, so your language, and in other words, your parents. And he kept going Scottish, and it's like, it didn't help to just not say the
Exactly.
You were just trying to establish a difference in dialect.
Yeah, 100.
And he danced around it for ages.
100%.
Clearly.
Exactly.
But there's nothing wrong. But there's nothing wrong if someone, let's say, is quoting the Quran. It says it Arabic and English. You understand? Because you see other.
But can we just clarify? Can we just clarify something with you guys? Because he's gonna probably get a lot of stuck. Is it reasonable to say what he said, that the Quran may be perfect, but people reading it are not perfect, so it could be subjective? Is that okay? No, we need to clarify it. Is that okay?
I'm gonna get so much shit.
You're not perfect, are you?
No, I'm not perfect.
So,
let me say something. Let me say. No.
Yeah, but that's because you're a thinker. But the thing is, there are people online that already have an opinion programmed in their brain, and they see someone. It's like an antivirus, you know. Someone doesn't have your opinion, and it flags. It's like bang, and then they're like, oh, he's an asshole.
I'm saying, Raj, listen. I'm saying the Quran.
Who's done that?
I'm saying
Who done that? Who done it? Who's done that little bird thing?
Yes, that's all I'm saying.
Big well.
But the guy ran off to you.
He's trying to troll.
But in that context, did he put in that context? Did he put in that context?
Sophia Films. Big up Sophia.
Sometimes. People misquote. I'm saying. So did he put in this context? If you said like the Quran is perfect,
is that fake Stephen Sorry Garvey Burrow?
I agree.
I agree. You still don't understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I said that 10 times. People just don't want to understand. The Quran is perfect. May be perfect.
Ask him to answer. Break down the text.
Are we perfect?
Do some Bhangra dancing for you guys. Are you mad?
So what's wrong
I'm not
with
your
you
little
saying
pet.
that our
Who's asked
interpretation
that?
of the Quran is
Oh,
not
Sophia.
objective?
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I don't do Bhangra. I've got no rhythm.
But what I'm trying to say is,
I'm one of those Sikhs with no rhythm.
Somebody's not looking for the truth. Somebody's not.
Oh, big up Sarah Lipa.
Are you saying it's
That's not me. Proof. Hold on. Proof that it's not me now.
That's unbiased.
I'm
Sorry,
here,
very quickly.
she's
very
there.
quickly, Sorry.
Everyone thinks it's me.
You're picking and you're taking what you want, and that's it.
You see, that's why. You see, this is the. Wait,
It's not what the word
please.
means.
But anyway,
No,
wait,
please.
The argument was the argument of what you argued.
See,
We'll do a
let-
Q&A later.
Look, you misunderstood what I meant by objective. This is why you found what I said outrageous. I understand now. You think that objective means unbiased.
No.
That's not what I was saying.
Picking and choosing. That's you're not being objective. Looking for the.
I'm not objective.
You're
I've
not
never
looking at the whole
claimed to be.
thing.
I'm not objective. I know that. I've said
Anyway,
that. Have I said that I'm objective? I've never said
Are you
that.
trying to say
People what they got upset about. Let him say. What the people got upset about.
What I've said.
Simple things in Islam. People are asking you, and if you're a Muslim, you shouldn't have difficult answering.
No, because it's not obvious.
It's obvious.
It's not.
The Quran makes it clear. It's a
Please,
verse
brother,
of the
please.
Quran
You're not
that's
listening to
clear.
him. He's saying as a human being,
please.
you may not see it that way. You're
Listen,
subjective.
is this brown? Is that brown?
Brother, when Allah
Then
says,
please
in the deen
answer.
inda Allah Islam,
Ya Allah.
only true
Please
religion
answer
that
me.
Allah
Just
accepts
please
is Islam,
answer me.
that's
Is
clear
this
cut, brother.
brown? Yes or no?
When Allah says there's only religion that He accepts is Islam, that's a clear cut.
Please
Quran.
please
no point
answer
arguing
me.
with
I'm
this.
asking you a
Dude, there's no point.
seemingly.
There's no
Question you were
point.
asked wasn't that difficult.
Let's get away from it. There's no point.
Listen, what I'm asking you seems to be very clear and obvious.
Yes,
Yeah?
every
Right.
Muslim.
This seems to be a very obvious question. Is this brown? Can you answer the
In
question?
the deen inda Allah Islam, is
Can I
that
jump
obvious?
in?
Is that
Can you
clear?
answer the question?
Is that clear? In
Do
the
you think
deen
this
inda
is
Allah Islam, the only religion that Allah accepts is Islam. Would you say
He's
that?
not
Okay,
said that. He's
fine.
not said that
Can I
though.
jump
Yes.
in? Can I jump?
Yes.
Yeah, can
jump
I-
in.
can I-
That's
no,
what the
whoa,
brothers
whoa.
are asking you, and you
No, can I substantiate?
You're saying he has this.
Okay, I'm going to let you talk, but you need to let me respond after. Okay, fine. Right, there are other things that you have to consider. For example, la hukma illa billah. For example,
That wasn't an issue. The
Look,
brothers never
Hey,
spoke
let's do a
about
live
this.
chat now then. Hey,
please, I'm trying to answer your question, yeah? You're saying
Who's
to
doing those
me,
little-
it's a very
you
clear-cut
that.
thing that La ilaha illallah
you
Muhammadan
trolling.
Rasulullah constitutes for Islam.
Are you
This is
repeating
your
that? Oh,
argument,
cool.
right? What would
Shall
you
we do a
say
live chat now
about
then?
Osama bin Laden saying
now?
La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah and then flying a plane in a building? What would you say about an ISIS guy saying, is he a Muslim for you?
Right,
Is he
let
a
me do
pious
it then. I'll
man?
do it on tablet
It's
instead.
not a clear-cut thing.
You're going here and there.
I'm not. You
You're
just
mixing
don't like.
things.
No, you just
you're
don't like
mixing
my
things.
answer.
No, you're
I'm not
mixing
going
things.
off topic.
Don't
It
go
just
mixing
doesn't
things.
play into
Brother,
your narrative.
Brother,
That's the
people are
difference.
asking you a simple question.
And I've given you a
know,
simple
answer the
answer.
question.
I've given you a simple
No,
answer.
you're mixing things. And you
What's your
complicate
question?
things.
Summarize your question.
Simple thing, the brother
Summarize
was
your
asking you.
summarize your
The
question.
question was, is all religion, does Allah
Yeah.
accept all religions, or is the only religion He accepts is Islam? That was the
Yes.
some of the questions
Yes.
you've been
No,
asked,
that wasn't
and
the
you weren't
question he-
answering.
no.
That was one of the questions you asked.
No,
and you weren't
listen.
answering.
No, he said to me, is La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah enough to constitute becoming a Muslim?
Yes.
Now, he was so adamant that that answer to
because
that.
he's right. Because when the
Please,
Muslim,
ya Allah,
Okay,
please let me
go ahead.
answer.
Okay, go ahead.
He was so adamant that the answer
Now
to
you're
that
playing the
question.
frustration game now. Okay, go on, talk.
You come across very disingenuous.
No, go ahead.
Do you actually want me to answer, or am I like just wasting my time?
Answer.
Okay.
He's actually got the patience of a saint
So,
dealing with you. I'm being honest with you, man. You're doing my head in
You're
like
coming
20
very,
minutes ago.
you're coming across really disingenuous,
man.
honestly.
Come on, you-
Because it's like you don't care what the
You're
answer
doing
is.
that,
No, I'm
brother.
like-
You're doing that, brother.
Tell your
Look,
brother
Anyway,
to
go on.
continue with the
I
point.
don't know, but
He made it out like it's like this incredibly obvious thing that saying La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah constitutes Islam, when it's not incredibly obvious. Because, for example, is the person lying? Is he got different intentions? Am I got a sword held to my neck and I'm just saying it stay alive? What if Bin Laden says La ilaha illallah? What about the other ayah that says La hukma illa billah? There are hundreds of thousands of variables that play into your subjective interpretation as a fallible human being. And if you keep denying this, you're just going to do yourself a disservice.
brother,
Trust me.
you know what I say?
Is that controversial?
No. If you're trying to say, look, brother, if you're trying to say, look, if you're trying to say,
He's a Muslim. He's a Muslim.
look,
I don't invalidate his views because he's not a
He's
Muslim.
talking about common
brother,
sense, though.
if you're trying to say,
So are you saying that his opinion is invalid because he's not Muslim?
Yeah, exactly.
No, it doesn't matter. Common sense is common sense.
Muslim.
Yes.
Whether you fake it or not, we don't know what that person's heart.
Yes.
Yeah, but logically, if someone declared the Shahada, he's a Muslim.
But that wasn't what he asked.
Yes, I.
No, that wasn't what he asked.
Okay.
Now you're adding.
No, I'm not
the
adding.
boundaries.
I'm continuing.
But
let
he
me
made
finish.
it out
So
to
let
be a
me finish.
very clear-cut question, and it's not.
So if someone declared the Shahada, La ilaha illallah,
Yeah.
automatically that person's Muslim. Whether if he meant it or not, we don't know. Only Allah knows.
Are you boycotting me?
Correct? Only Allah knows. Yeah.
You boycotted
But
me.
if you're saying,
Out of
let's say,
order, man.
if you're saying the Quran, people understand it. There's some people that read the Quran, like i.e. non-Muslims. So in the Speaker's Quran, I'm pretty sure you've seen like non-Muslims, they read the Quran out of context.
And they do the same thing as him, ironically. They have the same.
You understand in it, subjective understanding, like limited understanding of the Quran. If you're coming from that angle, then I can say, okay, you've got a point. But there's some people.
Oh, finally!
No, hold on, right? Hold on.
In fairness,
Well done.
in fairness, he already accepted
Because
that.
we know,
But he's not accepting.
because we know non-Muslims, when they come and debate with Muslims, they have no clue understanding the Quran. So they just get what.
Not all of them.
No, I'm not saying majority. Like let's say Tommy Robinson supporters.
Yeah.
Like me.
Yeah.
Big up Tommy Robinson.
Like him. Soon, don't worry. I'll work on him to leave Tommy Robinson.
Free Tommy
Yeah,
Robinson.
we're gonna work on him.
We're gonna work on him. Don't worry.
We're gonna
You
work.
know what I mean?
I'm Tommy Robinson.
Yeah,
What do you want me
stand
to
in
do?
it.
I can't lose that name.
We work on
No,
him.
we're
Don't worry.
gonna. But in private. I
You know
don't
what I'm
think-
saying?
I'll
If
become a
you-
Salafi.
No. Remember, if you follow logic, you leave Tommy Robinson.
Right, yeah. Well,
But
you
what-
need to brainwash me a bit, man.
You know what I'm saying? Well, we need to unwash you.
Yeah, unwash you. Yeah, I was
But
washing my
anyway,
brain.
let's say. So what I'm trying to say is that there's people like Tommy Robinson fans, that quote or other people that debate with Muslims in the park.
Yeah.
They misquote the Quran.
They dig out of context.
So they
Not
say-
misquote.
They
They
look
take
at-
out
they-
context.
They dig out of context, or I'm saying.
I agree with that.
So
I agree
like,
with
let's say some people come in with Surah 29, and then they give the out of context. They take it out of context.
100%.
So that is their subjective, limited
100%.
understanding. So if you're coming from that angle, then I can say, okay, I
100%.
could agree with you.
Yeah,
if
but
you're-
do you know what's ironic? Yeah, these Tommy Robinson brothers, just like these brothers, they think that they're objective.
But I don't understand.
That's the irony.
But are you?
And he would be the first one to recognise that in Tommy Robinson.
No, because what it is,
He would be the
I've said that
first
as
one
well.
to say to him, "What about the context?"
Both sides are demonising each other.
So why doesn't he recognise
were you
that
coming
in
from that angle?
himself?
Brother, were you coming from that angle though? What I just mentioned.
Yes.
Okay then.
That's
then-
all I'm
cool.
saying. Is the Quran is objective, but we are
As humans, we are
imperfect
subjective.
humans.
Okay, I agree.
And
I
then
agree.
everyone wanted
I
to
agree.
make
I
that.
agree. So
It took 1 hour to get to that.
misunderstanding.
No, it
it's
wasn't.
not
It
a
wasn't
misunderstanding.
They heard
Because
it.
I've given you
No,
time.
you're a logical guy.
You're logical.
They
I'm
heard.
always logical,
I know,
bro.
but these guys in
You
the
know me,
audience.
brother, I'm always
I know,
logical.
but the guys in the audience knew exactly what was
Sorry,
being
there
said.
was another
but they
brother
did
that
not.
wanted to
They
say
could not see the logic behind it.
Okay.
You did because you're a sensible guy.
Nah,
You heard it.
Because I'm always
other
use
bearded
logic
guy.
and facts
Alright,
and reasoning. You know me already, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah.
They don't know it.
He might convert me to do the shahada.
You know what I'm saying? Soon, don't worry.
Hell will freeze over.
We
See,
get Raj.
he thinks. Look, he thinks I'm outrageous.
I'd be your number one.
Get him the right path. Right path.
Wait,
Excuse us.
tell him
Right
to
path.
come.
Right path.
Right, that's nice.
Right path. Come on.
Yeah, that's good.
What is it? What is? Yeah. No, I want to know because I'm calling you. No, because if you're gonna do, let's confront him. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
No,
calling him
'cause-
out. Come
look,
on, man. Come
No.
on.
misunderstanding, bro.
Look. Earlier on,
He's getting a bit rod.
Earlier on, you were very dismissive. What was it that I said that was so outrageous? That's what I want to know.
That's it, man.
see, look,
Yeah,
he
come
went-
on, get some. Dude, this is good though.
People are one way
I'm-
out of the
energy's going
camera.
to
You
me.
confront
It's
them,
calling
and
No,
they
but there's, look, for me, look what
Call
I
him
did
out,
there.
call
Look
him
what
out.
I done there. Look, I did
Is
this.
you unite upon the haq? Let's unite upon the haq. Was he the one? Yeah, you know, let's unite.
You are too strong.
Yeah, you done the well done, man. Well done.
It's strong for them, bro. It's not strong. It's just there's misunderstanding, bro. There's nothing strong, bro. You know what I
Trust
mean?
me, watch the conversation.
Misunderstanding, bro.
There wasn't a misunderstanding, and you know what they're saying.
Players like strong like him to confront the Salafi ideology.
It's too
Now he
much,
comes
bro.
from really strong point, strong base.
What happened here is that
All
there's
guys dominated the debate. from the Wahhabi.
They dominate. They dominate.
Now he
you know what it is? I'm usually, if you ask Raj, yeah, you've seen me in the past. I'm actually usually a very submissive person.
Yeah, very passive.
Yeah?
I'm shocked.
But today,
I think my energy's rubbed off on you.
No, do you know what it is? I'm just seeing these Wahhabis like just
Bro,
bang,
people
bang,
say
bang.
Wahhabi, bro.
But what is a Wahhabi
People
though?
say
I'm
Wahhabi.
just fed up of it. I got to the point, like,
I think it's an insult.
He's a
Are
you a Wahhabi?
No,
So what's the difference? Let me just clarify. What is the difference between a Wahhabi and a Salafi?
But what I'm trying to say,
I didn't
what is a
say.
Wahhabi?
According to me,
I think
politicized Salafi.
but
some people would
Wahhabis
disagree
follow
with me.
Prophet Muhammad. So that means
So you follow Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, who follows Muhammad.
yeah. But majority of people when they say you Wahhabi is an insult, bro. You understand? It's an insult. I'm just saying it. Like there's some.
I didn't mean it as an
You know what I'm
insult.
saying? Because there's some like I'll give you there's some people. It's like some people take it as derogatory though. Do you understand it? I'm not saying. I don't like it. I don't like it. Like I see people debate with me. They say, "Oh, you're Wahhabi. You are." Bro, like I follow.
Are you saying because of the history of the word
I follow.
has a negative connotation to it?
No, but I've read his books. I like his books.
I'm saying sometimes you can have. I'm saying
I've read Sheikh Abdul Wahhab's books. Yeah, I like his books. Just saying it.
Sorry.
I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying when people always they say it in a very bad heart intention.
No, I didn't mean it like that. I meant it Sorry, I've seen your videos online, right? You're Shia, right? I know, but you know what I mean, yeah? I think we've got the same frustrations about this, yeah? Do you feel that there is this overpowering kind of, I'm not using it in a derogatory sense, yeah? But there is this overpowering kind of Wahhabi narrative in the park, where it's kind of like, I know everything. And I know today I've been very like overpowering, but it's because I'm reacting to this, because I've just had enough of it.
Brother, listen to this. You want to hear something funny? There's one guy who's a Wahhabi here. He's well known. He's well known, yeah? I don't want to say his name. I caught him right there on the edge of the park. I said, yo, bro, I don't want to say his name, but he's known here, big time. I said, brother, what's your stance on Yemen? Are you with the Saudis? They're killing all these children and women. He said, yeah, I'm with the Saudi government. I said, 500,000 children gonna die, and you're with that. I said, whoever loves the action of a people, Allah will put him with it. So one second, brother, one second. So this Yemen is the most poorest Arab country with the best people on the earth. They're getting slaughtered left, right, and center. There's no water, brother. You know what's the most basic humanity principle is water like that.
Can I say something, Modi? I just want to interrupt. Before you said it, I researched it last week. And I was shocked about what's going on. I didn't know nothing was going on in Yemen.
Crazy.
It's insane.
Even Sikhs are doing good work.
But this shows you the lack of coverage. I don't know why they're not covering it. Because the madness that's going on down there. I was shocked. I watched an hour documentary.
Are being demonized in Yemen.
So
that's what I mean. They're saying, oh, these
Sunni.
But I'm talking about the.
So you done a good job because at least it made me look into it, and hopefully other people will start looking into it. The BBC are not reporting on Yemen.
And look at, so he's from Somalia, yeah? All the Yemenis are going to Somalia now. But what I'm trying to say is that the basic humanity, like the basic, they say,
the water's running out.
And they're Sunnah as well. They're Sunnah, and they're getting slaughtered. No, like even they say this is the biggest humanitarian crisis in history, and people are like, yeah, so what? And they think Allah's happy with this. What kind of Allah are you worshipping? That's my question.
Yeah, but they think they know all the answers.
Yeah, but of course
that's the thing.
Brother, just like Shaitan worshipped Allah 7,000 years.
Yeah.
And Imam Ali says, we do not know if it's the years of this life or the next life. It could be that.
So I'm going to ask you, why is there a media blackout though?
Okay,
because like I said, I watched the news, I never heard nothing about it.
Exactly. There's a media blackout because the Saudi and their allies.
What do you think about
it? I don't want to get into politics, but what it is that I can tell you something spiritual. When Jesus returns, when he returns, the Imam Mahdi is going to be with him. He's the disciple of the Prophet Muhammad, the 12th disciple. In the history books, and even the Jews know, the one that's going to make the Imam Mahdi victorious will rise from Sana'a, who will come from Yemen. So they want to destroy this man who is in Yemen now. They want to kill him because he's going to be this man.
He wants to kill him.
He's called the Yamani. The evil forces.
You're talking to people that don't know nothing about Yemen.
The evil
I didn't know nothing
forces,
about it.
basically the enemies of Jesus, the enemies of Islam and Jesus and everyone. The evil forces, basically, the killers, they want to kill this man. So they're bombing the hell out of Yemen trying to kill him, but they won't be able to kill him because it's God's plan, and he's going to come out and make the Jesus victorious. He will make the Prophet Muhammad's family victorious, and he will fight against evil. So basically it's good versus evil. That's what's happening in Yemen.
No, I'm asking you the question. Why is there I'm asking you a question. Hold on. What I'm asking you is why is there a media blackout?
Okay, there's a media blackout because Saudi,
Which media?
the Saudi,
I'm talking about English media.
The Saudi,
You don't hear nothing.
Saudi Arabia. They call
It's hard to go on the net.
the people that control Mecca and Medina, who called the country Saudi Arabia, shouldn't even call it that.
BBC or anything.
Sorry, Raj, I'm gonna
Yeah,
explain. They have got billions of pounds of petrol money. Instead of giving it to their neighbor Somalia or giving it to Yemen, they take the billions of pounds, they say to the media companies, here's 10 billion, here's 10 billion, here's 10 billion. Shut all your mouths. Everyone shuts up. And it's politics and it's weapons. I'm not going to get into that. I'm a humanitarian person. Any person in this world who's innocent and gets killed, I stand against that. So in the day of judgment, when God takes me and says, what takes my life? He's going to say, Mo, what did you do in this life? I gave you 40, 50 years to live. What did you do? And I'm going to be, I just ate, drank and slept. No, I speak wherever I can against injustice. Whether he's Muslim, Christian, Hindu, whatever, anyone who does injustice.
The reason I looked at it because of your passion. I was like, why is this guy so angry? I was like, well, let me have a look at it. And when I watched it, I was like, whoa.
And the funny thing is, you see Muslims here who
I
claim
recommend
to
people
stand...
going onto YouTube and watching about Yemen and what's happening.
Exactly.
It's a catastrophe going on.
No. The mad thing is, you get Muslims who are meant to follow Allah and Muhammad and Abraham and worship Allah. They come here and they don't have no mercy in their heart.
It's because of their arrogance.
No mercy. You know what mercy is? The one man, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if a little thing happened, he would cry because his heart was soft. The sign of having a stiff heart, the sign of being evil that you don't have a tear in your eye.
The problem is, these people, they talk about how many times did you do wudu, how long were you in sujood for. They don't give a shit about how do you give to charity, how clean is your heart, do you judge other people, do I have the humility to accept that my opinions are subjective, which I was trying to say for the last bloody 2 hours. All of these things in Islam, they don't give a shit about. All they give a shit about is the material. How slow or quick am I doing wudu? Am I doing this or this too quickly?
You know shaitan.
Islam is brother, you know shit, man. We got such a rich tradition, and these people are killing it.
Isn't it right though? But isn't it good though to go back?
Turn up, man. I'm just so angry, man.
But you saying that people shouldn't go back? Like, let's say if they do the wudu wrong, you're trying to say they shouldn't go back.
What are you telling me about wudu,
no, that's not what I was saying.
You're praying to Allah, for example. There's kids dying. You're like, yeah, who cares? But let me pray to Allah. There's Allah. There's Allah. I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm saying.
No, I agree with what you're saying. Like, what I'm trying to say is that you're a passionate guy.
Islam has become hard.
I want to ask you a question, brother. I need to ask you from a non-Muslim. Why is it that you hear Muslims always talking about Syria, talking about Palestine, talking about Burma, but I've never heard a single Muslim mention Yemen?
You see?
Because
apart from him,
because it doesn't fall into the media interest. Shias don't run media. Do you know what I mean?
Al
Jazeera is run by Qataris.
What I'm trying to say,
that's a valid point, though, isn't it?
You even admit, that look.
Yemen is Sunni.
Yemen is Sunni. You even admit, hold on, brother.
No, I'm just Muslim, akhi.
He just admit,
I ain't in no sect. I'm just Muslim. I'm with the Sunnis. Look, I'm with Sunnis as long as they're with Allah. I'm with Shias as long as they're with Allah. Anyone who's with Allah and the Prophet, I'm with him. Whether he calls himself Sunni, Shi'i, I don't care.
But my question to you, why has Islam, why has our heart become so hard? We've become people that think that we know everything. There's no interpretation. We focus on actions. We don't focus on the things you're talking about. We don't focus on charity anymore. When Ramadan comes, people aren't talking about zakat. Do you know what I mean? What's going on? And this park is becoming infected by this disease.
Let me address your point.
Address my point.
I think it's a crisis. There's a crisis in Islam right now in England.
For Yemen,
and this has to end.
And don't get me wrong, you even admit that
it's pushing Muslims out of Islam. Wallah al-Azim, Muslimin are leaving Islam not because of do you think Tommy Robinson, he's happy. These Wahhabis are doing the job for him.
Brother, you keep on saying the word Wahhabi again, bro. You keep on saying
it. What do you want to call it?
Pushes people away.
Medkhalis,
no, brother, see, what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say saying
do you not call this?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I've met a lot
let's not,
of
like,
ex-Muslims, and one of the things
slander
they always
one
say
another.
is
What I'm trying to say is
that's
that
not slander,
I don't know.
One
I have a
people,
lot of people that
you,
Salafis
one
that I
people
get
say
on with, so I don't want
Wahhabi,
to put them all under the
they've got
bus.
five
but this
clear
has
intentions.
to end.
Just
This
saying
has to
it.
end.
To insult people.
What do you listen? What I'm trying to say.
Just saying it.
The
Just saying it. What I'm trying to say is that, look,
Oh, it's not
they
being
try
able to
to-
discuss
some people,
anything
no,
without
no,
being
called-
condemned.
And I know I'm being
they're fine. Some
overbearing
people are
today. I know I'm being a
controlled.
bit
What I'm
arrogant right
trying
now.
to say is that, look,
But the reason why
politically,
is because
what
people
I'm trying to say
are doing it.
politically is a
People are
very
trying to
strong
overpower you.
narrative. And when they
Okay,
say
listen.
Wahhabi,
Forget all of that. Forget all of that. Are you gonna die in a couple of years? Yeah. You agree with that?
all of us,
When you're on your grave, they're gonna ask you, who's your Lord? Where's your Qibla? Where's your book? Who's your Imam? What are you gonna answer? You're gonna say Saudi is my Imam? Who's your Imam? There's a question. This is questions. At the end of the day, whoever loves the action of a people will be put with them. So if there's people in the park who are happy with what's happening in Yemen, little kids being butchered, they will be put
But that's
with
quite a
them.
loaded. You're saying happy though. Are people happy with people being butchered, or they're just ignoring it?
No. Do you know there's people right now?
Like
they come to this park. I don't want to say names. They're happy with Yemeni children
Well, I'll
getting
find
blown
out.
up.
I'll find out.
but brother,
They're happy in their heart, and Allah will put them with the evildoers in hell, and they will dwell in hellfire. Because whoever is happy with action of a people will be put with them in the day of judgment. So whoever you love, you will be put with who you love.
But what's the
Can I say, like, I've seen you, yeah, Mo, yeah? You're a passionate guy, yeah? Week out, I've seen your YouTube, back in the days, yeah? You're a passionate dude, yeah? I've seen that, yeah? But I'm saying he's a passionate, I'm not too nice. I go in sometimes and I'm where I need to go in. But what I'm trying to say is that, look,
Hey, let's unite, bro.
always,
Look what you're
like,
saying, man. Causing division.
when you say you say things like that obviously that Yemen, that's bad. You know what I'm saying? But in your videos and COE, when I watch you, you always mention that like the Yemen and all that, but you don't. Do you mention that when other Sunnis dies? Because look, because you're a Shia, right? You're a Rafidi.
Bro, I'm not Shia,
No,
bro.
but
I'm
you are.
Muslim.
Can I interrupt one thing
bro,
from an outside
no, no,
perspective?
what
Can I say something?
I'm trying to say.
No, can I say
What I'm
something?
trying to say is that obviously, like, you're coming from a Shia point of view. Obviously, like, if Shias die, you're going to highlight it. But you don't highlight it.
Can I say something? Can I say something?
Let me finish. It's fair to me. It's that you never highlight, Hezbollah, they're bad. You never highlight that the Shias.
All right, let me say something first. Go on, I'm going to ask.
One of the things, the reason why he's doing this, if something is not being talked about and everyone's ignoring a subject matter, then one person has to speak about it. I speak about the deaths of the Sikhs in Afghanistan. No one's talking about it because it affects my people. You have a right, as somebody who's seeing their people suffering and no one's talking about it, to come in the park and be passionate about it. Otherwise, we wouldn't know.
Yeah, 100.
I wouldn't know.
God bless you. God bless you.
So you've done a good job. You can't
But you know
criticise
my
him.
point.
You can't talk about everything because hold on, people are talking about. Hold on.
I'm going to ask you.
People are talking about Palestine. People are talking about Iraq. People are talking about Syria. 100 people. No one's talking about Yemen. So he must talk about it. He has to be specific. So do what you're doing. Just be specific.
That kills innocent
What I'm saying,
so
I'm with
Daesh,
Daesh, Hezbollah, Hamas.
Hezbollah,
I love Palestine, I hate Hamas.
But what I'm trying to say that when the Shias, my
brother.
brother.
Okay, wait, hold on. Why are you comparing Hezbollah with Daesh? The Christian women in Syria were protected by Hezbollah, and the Sunni women were protected by Hezbollah when Daesh came to rape the women. What are you talking about, blood? Hezbollah are real G's, fam. Real G's, wallahi. Yeah, I'm not with no political system. Them man there is protecting Sunnah and Christian. Don't be telling me Hezbollah shit and then comparing them with Daesh, blood. Them man there in Lebanon, they've got a party, elected party. The Christians, the Christians in Lebanon, they love Hezbollah. Everyone loves Hezbollah. Why are you telling me comparing them with these scum Daesh, scum filth rats? Come on, fam. Let's be honest, fam. Let's be honest. You agree with me?
They like Nazis. They like Nazis.
Wait.
That's another level of madness.
Come on.
What I'm trying to say is, look.
He's right.
I was talking to a
You
Shia.
can't
But-
compare him to a Nazi.
I was talking to a
Wallahi,
Shia.
the Sunni man that was
That's
protected
true.
by
No,
Hezbollah.
hey,
they're not perfect.
when
to compare him to
Hezbollah,
ISIS,
Fine.
it's like me
Fine.
comparing
Okay,
terrorism
let
to
me make
Nazis.
it clear.
I agree with that. I agree with
It's
that.
a bit extreme.
When Hezbollah, when they're against Zionism, Hezbollah, okay. I can say that's good, yeah. But what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to say, no. But what I'm trying to say, like, I'm against
don't want you in
Zionism.
jail.
But I'm against Zionism.
I think we all are.
I'm against Zionism. I don't hate Jews. I just against Zionism.
Zionism.
Yeah. Now, what I'm trying to say, not every people that are against Zionism it's good. Like what I'm trying to say is that look,
We might put a little.
Hezbollah,
They
they've
do
killed
some bad.
They do bad. There's videos where they kill Sunnis, bro.
No, that's not.
That's not
Bro,
where they
Abu
kill
Talha has
Sunnis.
video. Abu Talha has
No,
video.
brother,
Wait a
they kill
second.
Sunnis.
One second. Is that why? No, one second. So I say a good question. Good question. So because Hezbollah, you're saying
Hezbollah killing people, Saudi killing.
so you're killing Yemenis because of this? Is that no? So no. At the end of the day, one second.
But I'll still highlight that though.
1 second. Wallahi billahi tillahi, if Hezbollah ever killed someone, if they ever did kill someone, they would have killed the ISIS terrorists. And that's it. They would never kill Sunni. Because Sunni and Lebanon is together. Come on, fam. I give credit when credit is due. That's it.
Abu Talha, let's see that video. Abu Talha, yeah? I'll be real with you. Like, that video, you looked at it from a white perspective. You didn't mention they are Shia scholars who hate Sunnis.
No, where is that, fam?
I can show you. My phone is there. I can
Show me your
show
phone,
you.
bro. No, don't tell me about
You
dead,
can't
fam.
show me. You
Show me
can't
the phone. Show me.
And you can't show me. My phone is dead.
No, dead, fam. Show me your phone. Show me. Who said that? Who said that?
When you look at Abu Talha's video,
who
at
said
least you highlighted that part. You highlighted. Because you didn't highlight.
I'm saying Saudi Arabia, with the Zionist regime, pays millions of dollars to media companies to make studios, to make fake people calling to make fitna in the ummah so they can disunite the ummah. Remember this, yeah? I will talk real talks out here, fam. So don't believe all these people. Lad, you know what Saudis is spending 10 million in that hotel over there on casino. Hold 1 second, fam. You think they won't spend 20 million on media channel to make people kill each other? Sunni and Shia make lies about Hezbollah and all them people.
They don't have to pay. They kill each other without paying.
No, I'm just saying, they add fuel to the fire.
Ideology.
They add fuel to the fire. Do you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, if he's giving a prostitute 20 million or something just for 10 minutes, or you know what I'm saying, they don't care about money. They got money, bro. Somalia is 10 minutes away from them by boat. 1 million people die in Somalia from famine, and Saudi is throwing billions on our strippers. Come on, fam. What are you telling me about? What are you telling me?
See, you don't know where I was coming from.
Yeah, you're right.
Where I was coming from, Mo. You don't understand where I was coming from, Mo.
I'm not with the political system. They're not on borders with them.
Bro, here's the thing though, you didn't understand where I was coming from. Where I was coming from, look, if you're gonna condemn some
I'm not with Iran, I'm not with Hezbollah, I'm not with nobody, I'm independent. But if anyone, if I see Sunni doing a good thing, listen brother, I am not with, listen to me now, I'm not with Iran, go. I'm not with Hezbollah, go. I'm not with nobody, I'm by myself. I'm by myself, bruv. I'm by myself, I'm a one-man soldier. But what I'm saying, so you're not gonna say Saudi are bad? So he's not gonna say Saudi are bad? Right. How much are they paying you, bro? How much are they paying you?
Bro,
how much are they paying?
I'm saying, look,
I want to know. What's the check? What's the check? How much? How much, fam?
I'm trying to say. No.
Listen,
What
you
I'm trying
have
to
to
say.
say Saudi
No,
Arabia.
bro. What I'm trying to say. No. Listen. I'm not gonna. I'm not. Don't let me just.
You don't want to stop the paycheck.
No. From what paycheck?
So why are you defending them, fam?
Listen.
They're Taghut, bro.
Listen.
You know Fir'aun. You know Fir'aun.
They're not Taghut, bro.
They're not Taghut.
Not everyone's
So
perfect.
the children can't have water in Yemen, no medical aid. Wallahi, a man from the UN, he said Saudi hit the cranes. Saudi hit. Fam. Saudi hit the cranes. You know what happened? He goes, we can't get food, water, medical issue. He goes, wallahi, the UN said 1 million children will die because there's cholera in the water. Wallahi, the children are dying and Saudi's sitting there dropping bombs on them. What? And you're not telling me these people are Fir'aun? Fir'aun wouldn't do this. Pharaoh. My man's telling me, yeah, I don't want to condemn Pharaoh. Come on, fam. Subhanallah. Allah al-Musta'an. Allah is hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakeel.
We know there's videos.
Imagine there's millions of people like this guy. Millions. What is going to happen, bro? This ummah is a disaster, bro. Allah says, إِنَّهَا أُمَّتُكُمْ وَاحِدَةٌ.
Just because you don't get Zion doesn't mean you're perfect.
Yeah,
That's what I'm trying to say.
True, but Saudi.
You know what I'm saying?
Saudi.
Highlighting the Yemen situation.
No, I'm just saying, look, whatever's happening, what's happening, it's bad. I'm just saying, in general, it's bad.
Be in denial about it.
No, I can't be in denial if I don't know anything about it, what's going on.
There's a lot of injustice happening in Saudi.
Yeah, but I don't know.
People in Saudi are being jailed.
Yeah, I don't know that.
People
I
in
don't know
Saudi are
that.
being jailed for tweeting on Twitter. Come on.
I don't know all
This
that. I don't know all that.
government is
Do you
not a
understand?
good government.
What do you know about Saudi then?
Come on.
Do you know about how they treat
I don't
women?
know. I don't know
They
them.
just
You know
allowed
how-
I
women
don't
to
know them.
drive, man.
I don't know them.
This is
You know what? You know why they did that thing to make women drive? So they can distract people from the millions of children
Bro,
being in
honestly,
Yemen. So
honestly,
everyone's like,
Saudi
oh,
thing-
women
Yeah,
can
but
drive.
I-
You know what I'm
I-
saying?
I-
It's all a trick in the
I haven't
media,
looked
fam.
into it.
Just look into it.
I haven't
I
looked
know,
into it. I don't know.
Okay, if I don't know, it's like say, if you don't know, just say I don't know,
Do you know
innit? Don't
they're
say
in
it.
arms
You know what I'm
deals
saying?
with
But what I'm
British
trying to say,
government?
the
Do you
where
know
they're
they're
coming
in
from?
arms?
I'm trying to say,
Yeah.
look,
I for Quran,
if they,
it's
One
not
by one,
enough
one by
in the
one,
morning.
guys. One by one.
Yeah.
Just
I'm saying,
the
look,
day just started.
Go on, yeah, go on.
Yes.
Yeah, go on, go on,
I'm
go on.
saying,
Say
look,
it. I'll blame shit.
just because,
Speak one by one. Calm
just because,
down, Muhammad.
what I'm trying to say is that
No, the day just
you
started.
don't
What
call
are we talking
out,
about?
you don't call out,
Come on.
and I would see this from some Shias. They don't call out the injustice what some Hezbollah are doing. Do you know Hezbollah are actually? But I know this for a fact. I know. Let me finish.
I'm not with Hezbollah. Remember this.
Okay, that's good then.
If they
Do you
done
condemn them?
injustice,
But do you condemn them?
if
Do you
anything,
condemn what
okay,
they're doing in Africa?
Can I say,
Nigeria?
if Hezbollah or Iran did any injustice, you know what's injustice? Even to the ant, you know the ant? I would. If they did any injustice, I condemn them with all my heart in front of the camera.
So
any injustice they did, I will never stand with them. I will stand against them.
So
if they did injustice.
Okay, I'll show you.
Okay,
Hezbollah are
yeah.
arming Nigerian Shias.
Okay.
Did you know that?
This brother just brought me about the Nigerian Shia. Do you know Sheikh Zakzaki? Check it out on YouTube. Him and his 4 children were killed. Sheikh Zakzaki is still alive. Because he's Shia, Saudi paid the Nigerian government money. They shut up the whole place where they're praying. Sheikh Zakzaki's 4 sons, they were all dead, and the Sheikh is injured in hospital. And his wife and his daughter were killed as well. And this is what's happening to the Shia in Nigeria. Shia everywhere in the world, they get slaughtered. I just want to stand up for them, the ones that are oppressed. Why? Because they love the Holy Prophet's family. The Holy Prophet family said, our Shia will be oppressed by the evil people. They were chopped up. Imam Hussein, the grandson of the Holy
That's
Prophet.
Shia point of view. You are coming from Shia.
Okay, do you know Sheikh Zakzaki? Do you know Sheikh Zakzaki?
From a Shia point of view.
No,
because
World News.
he's coming from
Sheikh
a biased
Zakzaki, Nigeria. Nigeria.
I think you're both.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
I know. I'm giving you. There's so many
Wallahi,
videos.
Nigeria, they're being oppressed, the Shia in Nigeria.
Never.
Wallahi
Because
al-Azim.
there's videos where Hezbollah are arming.
Look,
I'm just saying,
see how
that's
oppressed
wrong.
everywhere.
No, what I'm trying to say, whoever oppressed is wrong, but you're not condemning Hezbollah arming Nigerian Shias.
Okay, have you got
to kill
evidence?
Sunnis.
Have you got evidence?
Yes.
Where?
And I'll upload my video.
Where?
I'll upload my video tonight.
If he did,
I'll
would you
upload it in my
condemn it? If he
video.
did have evidence?
Tonight, I'll upload it in my video.
Okay, one second.
Would you condemn it?
Wallahi, billahi, tillahi, what you're saying is 100% wrong, and I will be asked by Allah.
I'll show you.
And listen,
Okay.
Wallahi, it's the total opposite. The Shia in Nigeria are getting destroyed.
How about that? I'll
They're
put it in my
getting
YouTube
killed.
channel. I'll put it in my YouTube channel. How
Yeah,
about
if he did
that?
have
How about that? I'll put it in my
Okay,
YouTube channel.
so you're telling
I'll
me
show you.
Hezbollah can
I'll
get...
show you that Hezbollah are arming.
If he did have evidence of Hezbollah doing something,
Yeah?
injustice,
Would you condemn
would
it? Of course I will.
Right.
Of course.
If he had
Tonight
evidence
I'll
of
upload
Saudi,
it in my YouTube channel.
if he had evidence of Saudi doing it, would you condemn it?
What's that?
If Saudi
Put it in
doing
your channel.
injustice?
Put it in your channel. I'll see. I'll
All
fact
I'm
check it.
trying to
I'll
say-
fact check
alright,
it
back-
because I've got
he had
fact check
evidence,
papers
would you
and
condemn it?
documentary.
Yeah, okay, listen. What I'm trying... So where's Sheikh Zakzaki? He's the leader of the Shia. Did his 4 children get killed or not?
That's wrong. If he
Exactly.
that's
So
wrong.
go and check it
But
out.
you're not saying it's wrong.
Who
that
said you-
Hezbollah
Okay.
are going to Nigeria?
Okay.
Arming.
How can they
If
go
he
to
had
Nigeria?
evidence of
No,
Saudi,
but they're
How
arming.
can they go to Nigeria? How?
They're arming them.
You think they're going to come there and what? How are they going to bring arms? Hezbollah is a little group of people.
Brother,
They're not a
they've got
government.
territory in
Brother,
Nigeria,
one second.
my friend.
Wait. You know what the Pentagon said? Wallahi, the Pentagon said they were sitting on the table. Listen to this. You know when Hezbollah mashed up Israel in 2006? Israel killed 1,000 innocent people. They didn't kill no Hezbollah soldiers. Hezbollah, they only killed Israeli soldiers. Listen to this. You know what the Pentagon said? They said they were sitting down. They said we've got the strongest power in the world, Israel, with all the American weapons, and we've got a group of men fighting Israel. How the hell did they manage to defeat Israel? How? They said this is not natural. The Pentagon said this. This is not natural. How can a group of guys be... One second. Why? Do you know why? Let me tell you why. Because Allah sent angels. Wallahi billahi tillahi. With the Hezbollah
They were angels that came down and they helped them. Why? Because they are believers. Hezbollah, they are the most. No, I'm just. One second. Angels came down. Angels came down from the sky. Jibreel came down with them.
He's coming from a
So how did they defeat Israel? How? A group of people with a few weapons. How can they imagine the strongest group power in the world against a couple of guys?
But my brother,
A couple of guys. How can they win? How? And you know how many Arab countries tried to fight Israel and lost?
I will put it on my YouTube channel.
5 Arab countries, all governments, they all lost against Israel. Remember that in the war? Who knows the war?
Getting armed.
You know what I'm saying? So a group of men who are believers, but the problem is Saudi and the Takfiris, they say don't even make dua for Hezbollah. Because Saudi, Takfiri, Wahhabi, Yazidi, they are happy with the killing of Imam Hussein. If the Holy Prophet's grandson, Imam Hussein, who is the master of the youth of paradise, the Nabi says, Hassan wa Hussein, Sayyid al-Shabab al-Jannah. If they were chopped up and Saudi says, yeah, we're happy. So who are we? Who is Yemen? They're happy that the Prophet's children were chopped up like a butcher. These people are butchers. Wallahi, butchers, human butchers. You think they're going to care about me or you? If they, Imam Hussein, they're saying chop him up. Yazid, yeah, he's Sahabi, they say. Yeah, don't talk about Yazid. So these people, they don't even care if the Prophet Muhammad gets chopped up. They don't even care about Allah. They don't even care about Islam. They made the Prophet Muhammad, his birthplace, a toilet. The place where the Prophet was born, they made it a toilet. Can you believe this? These people, they do not have an atom of Islam. An atom. An atom. You know what's an atom? أشد كفرا ونفاقا. They are the most kufr and nifaq.
Your problem is you are coming from the Shia point of view.
Thank you.
So I don't mean to take you to
say something. You're right. He's coming from a Shia point of view. He's coming from a Shia point of view.
It's a reason for killing each other. When you are coming from
Brother, I have never said kill anyone in my life.
No.
I never said that.
Everybody here can admit that you are coming from that point of view.
No. Okay, did I say one second? Any drop of blood that happens, Allah will come to me. And if I was the reason, I am against anyone killing anyone, bro.
Give me half a minute. If you go back in the history and you are accusing Yazid, Muawiyah, somebody else killing Hussein and so on.
History repeats itself.
And they are going to fight back.
By the way, those that killed with the Khawarij is my friend.
No, it was Yazid. Yazid killed Imam Hussein.
Yazid
Saudi like him.
Ali was aggressor and Abu Bakr was the real Khalifa and Umar was the real Khalifa. Then the war started. You are going to history. Just a minute.
So are you with Yazid or against Yazid?
While they are fighting each other.
I'm asking you, are you with Yazid?
I'm with anyone that's each other.
Are you with Hussein or Yazid?
I'm not with anybody. I'm with myself.
Wait. If there was with Imam Hussein against Yazid, who would you join?
I wouldn't join anybody.
You wouldn't join no one. The grandson of the Holy Prophet Muhammad.
That's what you are saying.
The Prophet said he's the last of the paradise.
He said he wouldn't fight in injustice war.
Okay, what did the Prophet say about Imam Hussein? Well, ask me.
I don't care.
You don't care what the Prophet said?
Just a second. I don't care about your understanding.
My understanding. The Qur'an talks about the Ahlul Bayt.
Subjective. We are talking about 2 hours. 2 hours. Nobody respond to him. Nobody could.
What are you going to respond about what?
No, about your understanding of Quran. Your understanding of Quran is subjective. You understand? What you are trying to convince me that
it's a historical fact that Yazid killed Imam Hussein. It's a historical fact.
It's going to be your subjective interpretation. You cannot understand your limitation.
He's got a point.
Your limitation will not allow you to perfectly interpret the ayah. Because you are limited.
The ayah? You mean the hadith or what? What ayah?
Everything. Every ayah, hadith, everything.
Oh, you're saying that because I come from that kind of
lecture?
No, he's not saying
what
that.
he's saying is
lecture.
No one has an objective understanding of the Quran. It's all subjective.
The Ahlul Bayt have it.
Everything.
Everyone,
saying,
Sunnah, Shia.
He's coming. Look, I watch you. Look, what you said, yeah.
You miss a lecture.
He's talking about interpretation because right now, and what you just said, right? someone can easily debunk you. Do you understand, innit? So what I'm trying to say, look, end of the day, look.
You did a good video.
You're a passionate guy. I ain't knocking you for that. Do you understand it? You know that, right? You're a passionate guy. I'm not knocking you for that. Do you understand it? But what I'm trying to say is that I've seen your videos, yeah? And this is, you can say it's my opinion, yeah? But I've seen your videos. You always come from a Shia point of view. Do you understand? From a biased Shia point of view. No, but here's the thing that I'm not knocking, it's nothing personal. And I'm saying that I like you're passionate. If innocent people are getting killed, I'm against it. Do you understand, innit?
Yeah.
Call spade a spade. Do you understand, innit? But what I'm trying to say, my brother, I always see you, yeah, that you do not condemn Shia militants. No, I'm just saying, innit? Or call out. Like, because right now, you would disagree with me. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, because sometimes I can get things wrong. But you would disagree with me that when I said that Hezbollah are going and arming Shia militants. That's wrong. Would you say that's
it's
wrong?
not logical.
But is that wrong?
It's like saying I go.
See, but you're not condemning.
No, listen.
If you condemn it, then I'll say you're a real guy, man.
Listen.
You're not condemning
These kind of lies that people spread about Hezbollah and they spread lies. If they're killing 1 million children, you think they can't spread lies? If they can kill 1 million children blatantly in front of the whole world, you think they can't send lies to everyone and say, yeah, that's nothing, these lies. إن جاءكم فاسق بنبأ فتبينوا. The Qur'an says, if a fasiq comes to you with news, then wait. Don't straight away judge. Make exploration. Ask, check. Is it logical? Is this truth? Ask people. Don't straight away judge and accuse someone. The Quran says, "In ja'akum fasiqun binam fatabayyanu." So these fasiq Saudiya, the Quran says, if a fasiq comes to you with a news, do not straight away accept it. Go, make research, check 100% is true, then accept it. So do not straight come to me, I heard this. Look, Akhi, it's not logical. It's not true what you're saying. At the end of the so Saudiya can kill 1 million children blatantly. So if they can do that,
at least I mean it. That's still if innocent people get killed, whether they're Sunni or Shia, yeah, whatever, they're still wrong. Do you understand? Yeah.
And Yemen is mostly Sunni, by the way.
And if it's still wrong.
Exactly.
What I'm trying to say is that look. When I told you that, I've said look, Hezbollah, they're against. Let me finish.
You keep on coming to. You're not listening. Hezbollah is in the parliament of Lebanon. These people are loved by Christians, Muslims, Sunni, Shia. Everyone loves them. Daesh, these ugly scums who come and blow up everyone and to chop up everyone. Who talk about them, condemn them.
I've condemned them.
Exactly.
That's wrong. Evil's evil. Whatever it is.
Evil is evil.
Just because Hezbollah is against Zionism doesn't mean everything what they say is 100% right.
Of course it's not.
And I've seen these videos.
The only thing is right is Allah and the Prophet Muhammad and his Ahlul Bayt. People make mistakes. People make mistakes.
But you said Ahlul Bayt as well.
Ahlul Bayt, Allah.
And you didn't include the Sahaba as well, yeah?
Which Sahaba? Oh, okay. Muhammad ibn. All right, I'm going to include them. Which Sahaba? Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr.
All of them.
The Aisha's brother.
All of them.
Muqdad. He was the greatest Sahaba. No, this is Sahaba. No, Sahaba.
But you mentioned. Okay.
Sahaba. Ammar ibn Yasir. Salman al-Muhammadi. Salman. Abu Dhar. These are the top Sahabas. Bilal as well. These are the top Sahabas. The rest is Umar ibn Khattab. So basically, you're trying to tell me, 1 second, I love everyone the Prophet loved. Everyone.
Yeah.
So anyone who
listen, his main guy was Umar.
Listen.
His main guy.
No, Imam Ali was his main.
No, Umar was his main guy.
Imam Ali.
Okay, no, I'm just saying.
Imam Ali broke the idols in the Kaaba.
Who's in the grave of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? Who's next to him?
No.
Who's next to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
Yeah, I know. So
who's next to him?
I know.
Who? And who else? Who else? Name all of them. Name them.
That's three. Umar, Abu Bakr, and the Prophet.
Yeah.
That's it.
So you don't like Umar though?
No. One second.
You've got bad heart.
1 second.
That's why the Rafidis, you know what I mean?
1 second. So 1 second. I love 1 second. I love Aisha's brother.
Yeah.
Abu Bakr's son.
Yeah. But what about Umar?
Okay, 1 second.
Umar.
Okay, let me ask. No, Muawiyah, no way.
Umar.
All right, 1 second. Okay. Listen. I'm gonna ask you a question. When the Prophet, okay, 1 second. When the Prophet was on his deathbed, yeah, and he said, bring me a paper and a pen. I want to write something for you so you don't go astray. What did Umar say? إنه ليهجر. What does that mean? And how can you accept what Umar said?
Tell us.
Okay. When Umar said to the Prophet, this is in the Sunni books, he said, إنه ليهجر. Liyahjar means a person who's lost his mind. And you can check on the Arabic thesaurus, anyone who's got Arabic thesaurus. No. Even Adnan Rashid said he said that. Adnan Rashid said this is true. It's in Sahih Muslim. This is Sahih Muslim.
Muhammad said, Hasbuna kitabullah. The Prophet was ill. He was in the bed. He was ill.
Yeah, but you can't say innahu liyahjar.
No. Hasbuna kitabullah. He said for Rasulullah, the kitab is not for us. Because Rasulullah did
So how can he say to that to the Prophet?
Yeah. That I have completed your deen. Therefore, Muhammad, I was with you all that time. But now you're going towards the...
No, you didn't mention that verse. See,
No. Wait. 1 second. I'm going to ask all the Sunni brothers. Listen. If a Sunni brother, I love all of them, and I'm Sunni myself, my blood is Sunni, my tribe is in Mosul, everyone ask about it. Okay. No.
You're Shia, come on. Modi, we know you can. No. We know, fucking Modi. Even though
I'm Muslim. I'm just Muslim.
You're Shia, man. Come on.
If any one of you, listen.
Don't use Takia, don't use Takia.
I got £50 in here. Anyone comes to me and says to me, Omar, he killed one mushrik pagan Arab in the battles of Islam. You know when Islam started? If you bring me anyone here, here's £50 here. Find me now, you go Google. Tell me that Omar killed one pagan. Okay, here's £50. And in front of the camera, £50. Exactly. All in front of the camera. All the pagan Arabs were killed from half of the Battle of Badr. Pagan Arabs were killed by Imam Ali's sword. So Muawiyah's uncles, grandparents, auntie, all of his tribe were killed by Imam Ali's sword. That's why Muawiyah hated Imam Ali. That's why when Imam Ali wrote a letter to Muawiyah, he said, the sword that I killed your granddad and your uncles with is with me right now, the same sword. Muawiyah hated Imam Ali. So at the end of the day, I want evidence, akhi. So I'm talking to you. So Imam Ali was the greatest after the Prophet. If Imam Ali killed all the pagan Arabs and Islam spread by Imam Ali's sword, Khadija's money, and the manners of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, and the protection of Abu Talib. That's how Islam spread.
Okay, so
money? Khadija's money. It was Khadija's money. Khadija spent all her money. She was the businesswoman. But you lot don't. You lot don't big up Khadija. You lot don't big up Khadija.
You don't. I'll give you the fist for that.
Yeah, bless up.
She don't get the respect.
See you, my brother.
She does. Yeah, but brother, she does.
I never hear her even spoken.
No, but we love. We love the shit with the Aisha.
Khadija and Imam Khadija. Yeah, Khadija. No.
I never heard.
You might never. Come on, bro.
Yeah, and listen to this. No, but listen to this. They don't say Khadija. She was the greatest wife of the Prophet. And Khadija and Imam Ali were the.
She's pretty Islam, though.
Listen, Khadija was the first person to believe in the Prophet Muhammad.
Okay.
Abu Bakr believe, yes or no?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Umar. Yeah. And I remember Umar, and give me the verse.
No one took the £50. The £50 is still here. No one told, bro. No one. You don't all go Google. No one came to me and said to me, Umar killed one pagan.
Give me the verse.
I got £50 right here.
Prophet praises Umar radiallahu anhu.
Talk
good about Umar radiallahu anhu.
Man, I think I'm lying out here. Here's £50.
You know what I'm saying?
Anyone comes to me,
Give us
and says to me, brings me one hadith that Umar or Abu Bakr killed one pagan Arab. I'm talking about.
He wasn't there.
Bring me one hadith. I will give you £50. All the pagan Arabs were killed by Imam Ali's sword.
5 minutes, you have to scream as much
That's why Muawiyah, when Yazid killed. No. I'm still waiting. Bring me the hadith. You're getting it straight.
They might not like Umar.
No, I'm saying bring me. No, that's not don't like. I'm saying it's not don't like. I never said bad. I said this is £50. Bring.
I like your passion about deep, but you're incorrect. You're incorrect.
Participate in the Battle of Badr, yes or no?
Yes or no?
Yes or no?
I told you, did they kill a pagan? One pagan.
Did they participate?
Did they participate on it? Did they participate on it? That's it. Answer the question. Did they participate?
All right.
Answer the question, Akhi. You're a true good man.
Al-Faruq, what was he called?
No, ask him one question.
Imam Ali says, I am the Farouk. I am the Siddiq. Anyone who says that other than me is a liar. The Prophet said that only to me.
Umar ibn Khattab, radiallahu anhu, did he marry Ali's daughter, yes or no? Did he marry that,
Yes or no?
Kulthum, did he marry her, yes or no?
Alright, someone told me, one second. Someone told me, if you're saying is true, because I don't know if that's true or not. I have to make sure, I have to go back to the scholars. If what you're saying is true, then so what if he married his daughter? So Pharaoh married, for example, I'm not saying it's Pharaoh, but Pharaoh married Asiya, and she was the greatest woman in paradise. Imam Hassan's wife, she poisoned him. Imam Hassan, and Muawiyah told her, poison Imam Hassan, she poisoned her so she can marry Yazid. Then she came, she goes, let me marry Yazid. He goes, if you poison the son of the Prophet, you think I'm going to give you my son? Yeah, Jud'ah her name was. So it doesn't mean Prophet Nuh, I'm just saying.
Red herring, by the way.
The Prophet Nuh, his wife was bad. The Prophet Lot, his wife was bad. I'm just saying.
You've got a point with that, but the point I'm making is, you're saying there's enmity between Ahlul Bayt and the Sahaba.
Which Sahaba?
Abu Bakr and Umar. Is that what you're saying?
Brother, do you know the Saqifa? Have you heard of Saqifa?
Okay, listen, that's
How did the Saqifa come out? When the Prophet died, Imam Ali was burying him, they ran and made the election between them. No, Allah has to choose the Imam. You can't just...
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
thank you.
What do you mean?
It talks about Shura. And if you look at your hadith, Nahj al-Balagh, Ali labels Abu Bakr and Umar as leaders.
Okay, so why did Umar say Abu Bakr's bay'ah was a falta? Falta, انها falta. What does falta mean?
Where did he say that? Where did he say that?
In your books. Okay, I'll bring in all your books.
Show us. Where did he say that?
Okay, I'll bring your books.
Taqiya. No,
I'll bring your books.
Okay. Clear cut Taqiya, by the way.
How many minutes?
You know what I'm saying?
Because you don't believe me.
2 minutes.
No, but I'm just saying.
The point I'm trying to make
You final round.
The point I'm trying to make is that there was marriage between the Sahaba and the ones that you guys hate, Abu Bakr, Umar, and Ahlul Bayt. Muhammad ibn Abu Bakr, is that Abu Bakr's son, yes or no?
Yes, he is.
Who raised him?
Imam Ali.
If Abu Bakr was going to talk bad about Muhammad Abu Bakr, why would he let Ali raise him?
Jeez, that's what you're saying. Come on!
One second.
You're getting moved, bro.
Okay,
You're moving.
listen.
You're getting moved now. You're
No,
getting moved.
listen. No, it's all right. That's a good question.
I was with you.
No, it's a good question. It's a good question. It's a good question. Why did Muhammad ibn Bakr was raised by Imam Ali? Abu Bakr's son, why was he raised by Imam Ali? Good question. Now I'm gonna have to go back to the history and look. I have to. No, it's not Janazah. I have to see because I think they got divorced, his parents, and then Imam Ali married the woman that Abu Bakr divorced, and then he had to look after him. That's what I've heard.
Another thing, in your books,
Yeah.
Ali says that Abu Bakr and Umar are imams.
No, he never said this.
A letter that he wrote to Abu Sufyan. In Nahj al-Balagh.
No, Abu Sufyan said to Imam Ali, when Abu Bakr came Khalifa, he said, Oh Ali, I will bring the whole horses, I will bring men and horses to back you against Abu Bakr. What did Imam Ali say to Abu Sufyan? He said, you used to be an enemy of Islam, now you want to make yourself like you want to...
You're going against your books then?
Huh?
You're going against your books.
I'm going to how? Which books?
No, but what he mentioned...
No, brother, I love you. Listen. I love you, fi sabilillah, and I see that you got a lovely heart. Listen, I love you. Let's lift our hands. Allahumma guide us to the truth. Ameen. Yeah. Let's see what's the truth. Let's put our hands. Allah guide us to the truth.
That's the 30 seconds. You finish it.
Allahumma ansur al-haq. Allahumma haq al-haq wal batil batil. Inshallah. Ameen. Ya Allah. Yeah, I'll say.
Now I've told you that Sahaba and Ahlul Bayt, they never used to hate each other. They had to
Let's respect all of the Sahaba.
Ameen.
Respect the Sahaba.
La ilaha illallah. Is it done?
I'm saying respect the Sahaba and Ahlul Bayt. So that's it. That's
it. In your grave, they're going to ask you,
who are we? No, who are we?
Because remember. I lie.
Yeah, but who?
When the people who are buried next to Prophet Muhammad
They're going to ask you who's your
are the
Imam in your grave.
Sahaba. You know that, right? You do know that.
He criticizes everyone that's against the haqq. Let it be Saudi Arabia, let it be Iran, let it be anyone.
Yeah.
Can you criticize Saudi Arabia for their actions?
I criticize Iran right now.
If Saudi Arabia, I'll say it clearly. If Saudi Arabia are throwing rockets and killing innocent people from Yemen, that's wrong.
They come here now and they spend money on drone prostitutes. I've seen that.
But what I'm trying to say is that I need to see evidence.
I didn't see that. What is there? Go to Sana'a. Go to Sana'a.
Go to stand out. I'm Moses, so blessed though, yeah? No. I did that. Hey, sure. It's like, look.
Content over everything. From your melanin.
Come, man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV. Listen. COE. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV. I don't even listen to Sky YG. I just listen to COE. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV. I don't even listen to Sky Man. Man, just listen to COE. Man, just listen to COE. Man, just listen to COE. If you see me, it's COE. Content over everything. COE.
Man, not even know BBC. Man, not even know ITV. Not even listen to the MUM. They just listen to COE. Sorry, mommy, I'm lying. But listen to your mum.